I'm actually going to defend Kronika. I know I hate that, but I'm just gonna defend her
Why?
a little bit because she did kind.
Why?
You could do the reverse flash things like, it was me, Johnny. It was me. I jerked you off at super speed.
He finally gets to be intimate with Sonya, and he just nuts right away. No, and he's so embarrassed.
Johnny's there like inside Sonya, then she freezes time, moves him. Right there, right there, so he's ready to go, but she tilts him, so it's outside, and it's like boom, and he's like, what just happened? And it's like, it was me, Johnny, it was me.
They jerked you off at super speed, so you couldn't conceive Cassie. If we want to get even eviler, you know what she could have done? She could have like showed up after the conception, then just like float next, just show up to like Sonya the same way she showed up to Jack.
Let's not go there.
Sorry.
Let's not go there. That's a bit grim.
That's enough, dog.
Snake knows me too well.
That's enough R-rated stuff from you, dog.
I'm mad that Snake already knew where I was going, the son of a bitch.
Of course, I know where you're going there too.
Get out.
Get out of my head!
Just like any good YouTuber, what video did good? Okay, only that from now on. This is what you
Stop.
get.
How dare you, TrueUnderDawg? I can only make sucks videos. I know. Jeez.
Hey, I mean, I hop onto any trend that I can get too. The latest one I've been doing that gets people excited is the blah 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 so blank that it was never seen again, or the blah blah so blank that the developers removed it. I'm doing that trend a little bit.
Oh.
Lately, so, yeah, that was meant to be a throwaway video too. That like Sub-Zero Ice Clone one, not a throwaway, but I meant like it was meant to be like just a video, like just a typical video. And it blew the hell up. I think it's like already at 400,000 views, and it's just about Sub-Zero's Ice Clone being gone in 11, and how in X it was just so good that they probably felt the need to get rid of it because it's just so ridiculously dominant.
Which is funny because the game between them, it was his special ability in Injustice 2. You press one button and he makes one.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I didn't even know they removed that. But apparently they still have it in the 2021 movie in Scorpion's Revenge. So that's interesting.
It shows up in it even shows up in the 2021 live action movie.
Yeah, 2021.
Which is odd because that's Bihan, who does not know how to do the Ice Clone, but he still do it. So
I mean, I'm sure he could do it in MK9. It's fine.
he can probably even do it in Legacy. Actually, now that I think about it, in like Mythologies, I mean, he can probably do it in that.
I don't think he can. I think it's just a freeze in the slide in Mythologies.
Oh well, damn, then he can't.
It's one of the cool things. One thing that's actually really cool with the early games was that they did have these things that distinguished the two, like as if Kuai Liang was a lot more creative with his abilities.
Yeah.
Like Bihan was never known to make swords out of ice until he stole that from Kuai Liang in MK9.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
I mean, I would definitely lean into that. Like if they wanted to have a game that had them both Snake, and they had Kuai Liang do all the cool shit, but then to make Bihan still cool, just make him like significantly bigger, like at least like a fourth bigger and more muscular, and have him be more brutal with his punches and kicks. I'd be totally down.
So the issue...
Well, I thought there was a missed opportunity there because they did have two Sub-Zero movesets in MK9. Instead of having Cyber Sub-Zero, they could have just had one be Bihan.
Yeah.
The issue is they have to make him Noob Saibot, so they just don't want to bother making another character, I guess.
I mean, the reboots they literally don't have to. They could just make someone else. This other guy, some random guy named Dave. He became Noob Saibot. Bihan still. I remember. I distinctly remember during MK9's development, like some of the devs said that Bihan was the Sub-Zero in that game.
Oh,
well, you could also even like, you could just call
was...
him Wraith or something, but still have him play like Noob Saibot, because it's always been my understanding that like Noob Saibot's going to be Noob Saibot regardless. I don't think Bihan adds those moves to his toolkit because his moves are just to clone himself and stuff, which is not something that Bihan could do.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely similarities. Like he has a slide, he has a projectile. There are ways you can customize him.
Reptile's got a slide too, though. Like everyone got a slide.
The ninjas just all have those moves in a way. So
yeah,
he has the ghost ball, which is the
you're
closest looking to like the actual ice ball when he throws it. That's the only thing I feel like ties him to Bihan at all. Is that little ghost ball that he throws.
The thing is, though, if you did do that in, like, let's say the new rebooted NRS game, it's like you literally made Bihan and Noob Saibot a different character. How would the fans react to that situation? Like that, I'm not too sure actually.
I mean, I feel like if anyone you can change, it would be him. It wouldn't be like Taskmaster. It wouldn't be that big of a fiasco, you know, in the Black Widow movie.
I know what you're talking about. That's an interesting connection there.
I think what they would do is turn Bihan into Cyber Sub-Zero instead.
Oh, Oh, okay.
So it's still functionally the same thing as happened to him. It's like how Smoke, like he didn't become a cyborg, but he became a revenant, which is functionally identical. It in the same way, it still makes him a evil, mind-controlled, and a worse fighter. So functionally, nothing has changed.
Only if they do it like MK9, where we can also still do the human version of Bihan, like how you had the human Cyrax and Sector, which they won't do because NetherRealm is gaga over their gears pieces ever since the Injustice series. So there's no way we'd get 2 different costumes with all their own gear pieces just for one character. But you know,
can I ask what that means? Gaga over your gear pieces?
Oh, gaga means they're just really into it, like goo goo gaga.
Okay,
they're just so going gaga means like it's their baby. So like NetherRealm loves their gear system more than like alternate costumes. That's like their new favorite thing.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Gaga. I gotta keep them in. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, like I wish they just do costumes, man. Like, who cares about tiny accessories that you can change?
Especially when they're bad parts too. Like in Injustice, it was cool, right? Because it was like the gauntlets and the shoes and like the helmet and the chest. But you're right. Like for MK11, it's like, oh, Scarlet's blood vial.
Yeah, you barely see.
And even worse was Cassie Cage's grenade. You literally, I mean, Jackie's grenade. You can't even see it. Like you never will see it in game. Except for like one outro.
There's a couple of like cinematic moves that do it, which is better than Terminator with all the visual effects on his grenades. Like what?
Yeah, we shall see where that goes, I guess.
But what's crazy actually is that Bihan did. You know how in MK9 when you use the alternate costume, it's Bihan, and then he actually has Bihan's voice clips.
Oh really? Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, but his intro line is still the normal one. So you think so first you think, oh, well, that's because they did that for the story mode, so they didn't do it for normal gameplay. No. In the game files, there is an audio file where he has a different intro line from Jameson Price, saying instead of saying this fight will be your last, he says feel death's cold embrace, which is a really good line because it ties into the Noob Saibot Reaper aesthetic as well as the Sub-Zero Ice aesthetic. So it's the perfect blend of the two, and it's a unique line made for this costume that isn't used in the game.
Yep.
Even though they did record it, I don't know why it's like that. Because even just in normal versus mode, it does still change his battle grunts.
Yeah,
it's such a weird thing.
You know what's also a weird mindfuck to go into the whole world of like vanilla MK9? If you watch the early gameplay trailer, not even early as in like leaked, it's just the first gameplay trailer for MK9. Sub-Zero's X-ray is different. They completely changed it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so you know how Rain's X-ray, he does like a little arm raise and it's someone's little geyser beneath you and launches you to him and he does the X-ray? Sub-Zero did that originally. In the first gameplay trailer, he summons his arms just like that and a giant iceberg comes up and stabs your character and launches you towards him and then he grabs your gut and does the crushing thing. But you know, in the actual game, he just charges at you with like the cold shoulder move, which I prefer that more because it's kind of a reference to Deception when he had the cold shoulder like slide. So I actually prefer what we got, but it's just so funny to see what we get versus what was planned. They're not always the same. I made a whole video about it with MK11, how much stuff was changed from like day one to like the patch.
Yeah, you can see that as well. Like in, I remember this while going through the Deadly Light stuff. Was that early screenshots had all different ones. Like Scorpion had the snake style, and like I think Kenshi had Crane. Like there's some really, it might have just been like it was because they had those styles finished, so they could just put them on the characters for presentation purposes.
That is what they do later on in the 3D era games too, right? Basically.
Then you get stuff like that with Deception, where you know Kenshi's Harakiri, where he gets on his knees and just cuts himself with a sword, and then just goes,
yeah,
and dies. Scorpion did that in an early trailer. Like when they first showed off the concept of Harakiri, Scorpion did it.
Kind of makes
sense. I guess they figured if someone's going to do a literal Harakiri, it should be the guy whose main gimmick is being the Japanese swordsman.
Yeah.
So they gave it to Kenshi instead. Then Scorpion's just like.
Clock, yeah.
Well, not to mention Scorpion doing Harakiri is just like all in vain because he can just come back anyway. Like, he's never allowed to die. Yeah. So it's kind of funny.
Just
he can't.
For style.
He's kind of a cheeky bastard now, huh? Because he can just escape any fatality but have no consequences. He can just kill himself.
I'll come back for you later.
There are some hilarious Harakiris though. I remember when Tanya like rips like 2 bones out of her thighs with like massive sticks of meat on, and just sticks them in her eyes and just dies.
Some of them are so unintentionally painful. Yeah.
Sub-Zero like freezes himself, falls over and shatters.
Sub-Zero's makes sense at least. Like, yeah, but you're right. Some of them are just like really painful to themselves for no reason. Like,
I am Darius.
Well, not to mention, why would you? The Tanya one, Snake. She grabs her upper leg and pulls the bones out. To anyone who's not aware of anatomy, those are the only bones you got in your upper leg. You just have the one femur, so how is she still standing after she pulls both femurs out and stabs herself? Like, how?
I mean, it's like in MKX when Scorpion throws a fireball through the opponent and like there's like a hole there, and it's like, well, if the spine's not there, how are they still standing?
Oh yeah.
What is keeping them up?
Oh, people argued with that from what I recall. It's like that's actually accurate with how like a fire would go through. It will burn everything else except the bone because it's strong enough or something like that. I remember hearing like a lot.
But no, it did burn the bone though. That's the thing. Oh, you mean the ice one?
Yeah.
The ice one where the spine is still there. Yeah, the ice Sub-Zero is the ice attack where the spine is just left over. But Scorpion.
Oh, that's a really cool. I love that one.
Yeah, Scorpion goes clean through it. Yeah.
And then you got like Cobra from Snowblind, who like when he dies, he gets like penetrated through like Shang Tsung's fireball through his body, and then later on you see him fall over with his face melted off. So okay, that happened.
You're right. That I didn't even realize that. I didn't catch the weird continuity break, but that's just typical Mortal Kombat movie, right? You're used to that game.
You catch that when you watch this movie like the 5th time, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like ever since Mortal Kombat 2021, you've been like scarred because you've noticed so many inconsistencies, and now you just look for them everywhere. Like,
where is Shang Tsung in the scene?
Yeah. It's fun.
That's great. It's but to be fair, it's fun to look for an animated film, it's unforgivable. Like for a live action film, I get it. They did multiple takes, and we made a fucksy-wupsy, like the actress moved in between shots, and now it's wrong. But in an animated film, you can literally just click them and like move them over if they're just standing there. So it's like it's super egregious for an animated film to fuck that up. So it's just super funny.
Snowblind has a couple of those hiccups that are really fun to point out, and I'm very looking forward to doing that. My favorite is still like, you guys made the joke being like, Erron Black will always miss in the movie and stuff like that. You really pause and you really look at the scenes where he shoots and miss. It gets so much worse when you look into it. I'll say just one. He misses like about 14 shots on the Kenshi with the first time he's fighting. Bam, 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 bam. And then Kenshi like gets onto a table and kicks a cup the first time and just hits him. So a blind man is better at shooting than him.
I want to know. So, you know, in the Aftermath Sucks video, when you had the bit highlighting, like, bang, 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 like, a counter going up, how many times he misses, are you going to repeat that gag here?
Absolutely. That's the one I have to do that. And like, I'll even bring up, like, his MKX, like, fails into it. Just his legacy of missing and stuff like that.
I just realized all NetherRealm had to do to make Erron Black what they wanted, which is a badass gunslinger, is to have just not made him a villain character. He could have either been a good guy or at least an anti-hero who's like in the middle, because then he could have pulled off all the trick shots and gotten some W's. But because he's the villain, he's not allowed to kill the heroes. And because he uses guns, that means he has to miss, because there's no way he wouldn't kill you if he shot you in the right spot. But like, imagine he's a good guy.
Is the good guy in Aftermath though, which is where he misses all those shots.
Well, but he's still the antagonist. He's
the antagonist.
Yeah.
He's the antagonist.
In that scene against like Shang and stuff. Yeah.
Well, because all antagonist means just you're in the way of the main character. You can be the good guy, but you're just in the way, right? But imagine, like, I'm just thinking in my head all this stupid shit he could do in animated form if he was a good guy. Like, he could fire a gunshot and it misses, and the villain's like, haha, you missed me. And then like it ricochets twice and comes back, but still misses. So what does he do? He shoots his own bullet with his second gun and then redirects it a third time and like kills the enemy. I could see him doing stupid, cool shit like that if he was a good guy. But because he's the villain, he just has to miss. Like all the time.
That's his fatal blow in MK11, where he just tosses 2 coins into the air and like doesn't even face his opponents and then shoots to the air and hits them. Yeah.
I think that's technically what he's doing in his MKX X-ray when the bullet's like bouncing like ricocheting off. Yeah. It's not clear because the way it's animated, where it looks like it's like he's redirected it with his mind. But I think it's meant to be
bouncing.
It hits the pelvis, ricochets up, ricochets through. Like, I think that's the idea.
Well, that's real too, though. That actually happens. If you shoot somebody in like certain parts of their body, the bullet is found like in different parts of their body because it does ricochet off your bones. Like it actually do.
I completely forgot. So Erron Black can like control where the bullets goes with his mind. I forgot if that's a thing.
No, it's the weird way it's animated.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not whole horse. He can't do that.
Not to mention the running joke that it has your name on the bullet, which is meant to just be a fun like nod.
I kind of like that.
You're not supposed to look into it, but what that means is that every time before a fight, Aaron's like,
one singular bullet. Yeah, one singular bullet.
Yeah, he's like. Really
to be fair,
planning.
like obvious, like even in MK11, he has like the wanted posters for every single character. So he maybe before fighting, he's ready to fight them. So maybe he can carve that.
I'm glad you brought that up. That ties into my like things changing during development, because have you seen how some of the characters look on the poster versus in game? Like they don't match.
Oh, I remember like the price change. I remember that part too.
Oh well, that too. But Garrus looks wrong. Garrus has a Fu Manchu.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's one of it's like with the heads from the crypts. Well, they use different. Like everyone has a different hat. Like there's some things that are different about them. Yeah. Clearly, they were made early in development. Like, why bother redrawing this image that you've already done when you change the character's design? Mm-hmm. What's the point redoing that? So you might as well just leave it as is.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff like that is like just inconsistent. But it's one of those where it's like it's not even worth.
Yeah,
bring it up as a critique. It's just funny. Like, I think Shao Kahn's like the samurai version.
And I do appreciate how like someone actually had to hand draw all of that, because they could have been lazy and just taken a screenshot of the character model and then like throwing a stupid Photoshop filter on it to make it look like it's drawn. But they actually sketched like a wanted poster for each character. Cetrion looks fucking cool in hers because she has a way slimmer,
that's cool.
More like otherworldly looking kind of face. Whereas in the actual game, she kind of just looks like your mom. With her facial structure, you know, like
not my mom. My mom's
not
Asian,
your mom, just anybody's mom.
Yeah, Frost has these like lines on the temples that aren't there in the normal design.
Yeah, she has extra like cybernetic stuff. Yeah,
let's see.
They're all different. It's pretty cool. Like, and I think Kabal has like one of his alternate masks, so you can actually see his eyes, because they didn't want to give him just a straight up like Kabal mask for his wanted poster, because that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, they actually look pretty great. Like, I see the Fu Manchu Garrus. Yeah, that does look very, very different.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool. I like little stuff like that that just changes. Oh, what a mask! What? You got a Kabal mask. Yeah, it's sick.
Is that Kabal?
It's just it's just a paintball mask. I just found on Amazon, but it's like I guess they probably just took this and scanned it or something, because this is pretty much like
MK11
one-to-one the same design.
It's identical, yeah. So I'm wondering, actually, did you buy that like after MK11 was out?
Yeah.
Because I was worried. I was starting to think the opposite, Snake. I was thinking, oh my god, NetherRealm's so shameless. They just found a paintball mask online and just copied it and made it.
Well, I imagine because like, the description didn't mention Kabal.
Yeah.
It was just a coincidence.
Could be 3D printed.
That.
Yeah, like you said, like
so. I don't know if it is stolen from MK stole this design, or if this was stolen from MK, but
hard to say.
So someone stole, but it's a fun thing.
You can now cosplay 2021's version of Kabal like that too. Yeah.
To be fair, I wanted to make a video on this at some point, but I have to do more research. You'd be surprised how many shameless like stolen character designs there are in fighting games. What do you say? Oh, soul sucked.
Yeah, you just made the soul suck meme. Yeah. Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, MK does that a lot, especially early on too, right? From what I recall.
Well, Tekken and Street Fighter are the most egregious, where they're just straight up stealing from each other. And sometimes it's cutesy wootsy, like for example with King of Fighters and Street Fighter, like Dan is clearly a combination of two characters from KOF, because KOF added a gi wearing karate man who's meant to be a parody of Ryu. Yeah,
named Ryo. Like it's
named
basically
Ryo.
The same name.
Exactly.
And
yeah. He's cool though. I like Ryo. He's got like oddly enough more personality than Ryu. Yeah, like he definitely does. Not move wise. Move wise, they're like pretty much identical. The only difference is Ryo had this move where like he rapidly punched you like karate style, and they took that and gave it to Dan in Street Fighter V to keep the meme going that he's like a parody of Ryo. But yeah, my point is they actually straight up stole from each other, like with a lot of their designs. Like they're just copy and pasted, and it's like ridiculous how you can get away with that.
You should make that video. I think that'd be a very interesting topic. Just what are stolen like moves from like in my Mortal Kombat tech?
The biggest rip-off in fighting game history.
Well, because I'm also wondering. I'm sure if I dig hard enough, I can find like. I'm sure somebody either intentionally or unintentionally, like whether they were inspired and forgot the inspiration or they just straight up stole it. I'm sure I can find some costumes that were just straight up stolen from fan designs. I'm sure I could.
Ooh, that would be very interesting.
Probably.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting to find, you know, because like that's why a lot of companies won't let you submit stuff to them. Like for example, if you like send story ideas to Pixar, they have a person there whose sole job is to shred your stuff and never share a word of it. Because if in any way you can legally prove that Pixar saw your story, you could sue them. So that person's whole job is to destroy your story.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A little bit back on the Kabal topic. Do you guys the interesting starting point. Do you guys like Kabal's like more recent mask, or do you guys like his like past mask design? I guess like from MK9 and stuff.
I'm not opposed to them changing the mask. It's just I think the mask design they went with is not that good.
Yeah,
like it doesn't feel very Kabal. Like, the original was very clearly inspired by the Tusken Raiders from Star Wars. That's clear the inspiration.
Yeah. I do prefer those more too. Yeah, I think.
And so that style remained consistent up through MK9, and then again, I don't have an issue with them coming up with a new design. It's just I think the design they went with is not that good.
Was it?
Which is a shame.
Was his Revenant form in MKX? Did he still have that? I think he did, right?
It was the MK9 design because other than Sindel, all the Revenants who weren't playable just had the same designs from 9.
Yeah, yeah. So here's
fair,
a.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you go. Yeah. You go.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah, I'll end off this. Yeah.
I had a pretty mellow response. Unfortunately, I've never been blown away by many of the mask designs in Mortal Kombat. They've never like jumped out at me. Not in a bad way. I just never really cared one way or the other. I do think the MK11 one looks a bit less weird. It looks like an actual mask that someone would like wear, like a paintball mask or something. Whereas the MK9 one, which is based on the original games, looks very overly complex, and I feel like it doesn't even achieve its job. Which is like when he wants to see through it, it's got tiny little slits for his eyes, and I'm like, that seems like it'd be hard to even like see through that. Just me personally, the only mask that ever stuck out to me is like, wow, that's a good mask design. It needs to like come back in every game. Is Scorpion's MK9 mask, where it's actually a scorpion with its like legs wrapping around his face. Like that's fucking sick. Like that's a really cool idea. Yeah.
In the games at least. Yeah, I do.
He has
like that
two different versions
too.
where it does that. Yeah, like both the costumes have that kind of theme going with the scorpion actually like legs coming out and wrapping around him. And I like that. It needs to be in every single game as an option to have that MK9 mask because it's so cool. I'm waiting for Sub-Zero to get something like that, but I think Sub-Zero's gimmick is to have like the exhaust ports on the side because the cryo comes out of there. That's pretty much his gimmick now.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to. So the point of me telling you guys this is because in the DVD specials of Snowblind, you can see concept art of Kabal with his past masks.
Oh, cool.
So that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, so they could have done that, but yeah. So it was interesting to see that in the concept art. Like, yeah.
Oh, I love that stuff.
I suppose like the MK11 one probably looks a little better for like the setting, like the Mad Max inspired setting. So I think
perhaps too,
it probably was a good idea to use that design as opposed to the classic one.
Yeah.
I'm such a sucker for concept art. I love it so much. I will always spend extra money if a game has like a version that comes with like behind the scenes concept art. But it's a love-hate relationship because on the one hand, concept art is so cool. But on the other hand, you're like, God damn it, they went with the worst option like for this character. Yeah, like MK11's the most egregious, where they had so many different. And look, I understand. I'm not an idiot. I know that like some costumes can't be done because they're too complicated for endgame. I get it, right? Like some of the Frost designs they had, where she was like super future looking because Kronika made her, were just ridiculous. Like one of them, she didn't even have her limbs connecting to her. They were like levitated and held in place by gravity matrices and shit. And I'm like, that's really cool, but it wouldn't make sense because now none of the fatalities work where you pull her apart. So she has to be connected. Like you can't do that. You know, I get it. I understand stuff like that. But some of the costumes were just way better than what we got for everybody else. I think Frost did a pretty good job with Frost. She got some okay costumes, but like, man, some of the concept art for like Jade, Katana, Scarlet, like they were so much better than what we got. And I'm like, son of a gun. Like Scarlet especially had some of the best like fashion costumes I've seen, and we didn't get to see any of them in the game. Yeah. The
in Snowblind, like because I like King Kano, the character, but like I do think his character design is a bit out weird and a little bit unorganized.
I just think Rooster. I think Rooster every time I see him because the big little red head thing. I just think that he's a rooster.
Just a little red hair. There's a concept art where he actually takes off the coat and it's just completely mechanized. And I kind of wish they did that at the end of the movie because he does still keep that coat on. It does look pretty sick, like with the coat, without that. It just you do see, okay, this guy's definitely really cybernized now.
Yeah.
But yeah, concept art is really fun to watch sometimes. The love-hate relationships. Could have seen what could have been. What could have been.
I still love that his head's a Rock'em Sock'em robot. Like, you can knock it off, but he just, like, pulls it back in. I thought that was so funny. I saw it coming, but I was like, that's hilarious.
Wait, I forgot. Which part in Kill la Kill was that, by the way? Because you said he's going to pull Kill la Kill.
Yeah, so in Kill la Kill, there's that scene where the daughter finally confronts her mother, Rainbow Head Lady, Mama Deer. So, yeah, when she's like, when her daughter finally decides to stand up to her in like this big ceremony that she's doing in front of everyone's public eye, she's like, "You pick now of all times to betray me," and it's like, "But it's like futile." And she goes, "Yeah," and she gets her sword out. "I bet even you can't live without a head," and she chops her head clean off. And you think that she's dead, but then like the light hits it a certain way, and like a tiny thread connects her head back to her body, and she pulls it all the way back on. And the daughter's like, "That's impossible unless, yes, my entire body is thread. Like I'm only clothing, pretty much." Or like that dumb twist. Like my entire body is life fibers.
Spoilers for Kill la Kill, by the way.
I guess it's like 20 years old.
No, it's like 10. It's not that old.
It's like spoiling Harry Potter at this point. Like I can't. Come on. To be fair, though, I shouldn't say that because my students were still watching Death Note. It was so funny. Like for the first time, they're watching Death Note, and I'm like, "It's a good show." And they're like, "I really like it." And I'm like, "It's a good show. It's a good show." So I guess I could theoretically spoil Kill la Kill.
Maybe I'm gonna put a warning. Yeah, definitely a warning. Spoilers for Kill la Kill. What a show. Anyways,
did I spoil Snake? He's making a sad face at me.
Yeah, maybe. It's not the biggest spoiler in my opinion. Like, there's bigger spoilers in that show that are actually really epic,
including some spoilers that don't make sense, but it's okay. Like some of them conflict with past stuff, and you're like, "Oh, the writer forgot about that." Oh well.
So, guys, shall we get into the topic today?
Yes.
All right. We're gonna start off with more like calm and more easy questions. I think that we can. Well, I say that, but the first one I think we've got here is going to be a lot more topical because I mentioned the controversy shenanigans. But at least for the first 3 or 4, I think are like ones that we all I already told you what they are, so that's probably a lot more easier to prepare. But then after that, I think we can just go like in order, just like start randomly asking the more raunchy questions or more funny questions, I guess. I don't know what you guys prepared.
You have planned? Oh,
I actually, ironically, I don't really have too many weird questions planned. Like I have more topical questions, but not necessarily the kind of stuff that will get you be like, ooh, that kind of questions, in my opinion. But we'll see where this goes, basically, because this is the Combat Canes podcast. Anything can happen. So the first question we have on the list is favorite MK game. So this is the one that like that will tie into the topic later on. Should we talk about the favorite MK game first, or do we want to go with the controversies first? What do you guys think?
I mean, controversies would hook people better, but I'm okay with either one. Whichever one you want to go with on your gut feeling, because I also would not mind answering the favorite MK game, but I feel like it's so obvious from us which ones are our favorite. I feel like everyone already knows.
Yeah, I've said mine explicitly. I mean, me saying what mine was kind of led to the controversy in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah. Actually, I don't think any of you guys would know what mine is, but I don't have a good answer. But let's start with the controversy first. So did you watch you watched the Deadly Alliance video, right, TrueUnderDawg?
I did. I thought it was great. Yeah, I listened to it while I was cooking.
So at the end of the video, he basically just lists Deadly Alliance is a great video game, da 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 da, and then like just nonchalantly, you basically made a very small like tier list of all the MK games, basically, and that tier list sparked a lot of no, I don't want to say it's a lot of controversy, but that's where the spark.
Controversy overselling it a bit.
Basically,
it's overselling it a bit, but it is fucking funny how tilted this one person seems to get.
Yes.
So basically, because all it was me saying, like Deadly Alliance, I really like Deadly Alliance. Deception is my favorite. It probably always will be my favorite, and so I needed something to go along with it as a visual. So I was like, here's a tier list of like how I would rank all the games.
Yes.
And like, it's kind of thing that's subject to change. I didn't even go into it. It's not like a big deal. It's just, here's how I would probably list them now. So people were actually surprised that I put MKX so high up.
Yeah, like on a C tier, because
I've mellowed out on that quite a bit. It's still got a lot of problems in the writing, but I think as an overall package, it's the best of the NetherRealm trilogy, and it's not bad overall. I prefer the gameplay more than classic MK.
You're also you're also ranking these based on the gameplay too, not just the story mode, which is what I think a lot of people would think too. Yeah,
and the person also. So basically, what happened was this person. they went on to r/Mortal Kombat, the place where like.
So this is a Reddit controversy. Yes.
Yeah, I'm the most infamous where those guys fucking hate me because I have different opinions on video games to them.
Yep, can't do that.
So this person went there, and they weren't saying it in an angry way, but the fact they went to Reddit to post this suggests that they got really tilted by it, saying like something to the effect of, I like 4thSnake's videos, but when he posts stuff like this, it's hard to take his opinion seriously.
Yeah.
It's like what? Because I put deception at the top and like MK11 and 9 at the bottom. I mean, specifically what they brought up was saying that because the bottom tier was MK9, 11, and Special Forces.
Yes.
Now
that was kind of dirty.
most people would agree that most people would agree that Special Forces is the worst one, unless you count like broken ports that don't work like MK Advance.
Yeah, like Game Boy ports or something.
Yeah. So the way it was listed was, I was listing them, I think other than the top tier, which was specifically the upper tiers where it was like, here's the order I would put them, so like...
Deception.
Then on Deadly Alliance, Armageddon, like the order I would put them, as I'd mentioned in the video. After that, it was all just, I don't have a particularly firm opinion on which is worse, so I'll just put them in release order.
Oh, wait, really? In release order?
Yeah, so the person was of the opinion that because I put Special Forces first on the bottom tier, that meant I thought it was better than MK9 and 11, which following that logic would then mean that if you go to the above tier, that would mean that I think MK1 is better than 2, which is better than 3, which is better than Ultimate 3, which is better than 4. Like, yes, MK1 is clearly the best of the classic games. Clearly. That's clearly what I was saying. And I'm pretty sure I've gone on record before saying that I don't think MK1's all that good.
Interesting.
It's not.
Like,
I will say though, because of what you said, like at the beginning, like, oh, Deception is right here, and then like I probably put like Armageddon and Deadly Alliance behind it. Even I got the impression that you were really taking the shit on the MK9, MK11, that you did think Special Forces is better. At least that's how I like kind of felt like. But I was just like, whatever, I just glossed over it. But yeah, so
I love
that's
how
interesting.
4thSnake, that's impressive that you pulled that off, because you did like a tiny little snippet of your video as a tier list. And I literally recently made a video called The Worst Tier List on YouTube, and it was just a throwaway video that I did really fast. And as far as I know, no one's posted that anywhere in a hate rage, because I guess they get that it's a meme. But I'm still kind of surprised.
When I saw that title for a minute, I was thinking, is he talking about my tier list?
Oh no, I never.
Fresh after the controversy, I'm thinking, is Dog gonna fucking roast me? Oh no! Then I thought, he's probably just found someone else's tier list and he's gonna piss on that. It's like, no, he's just making his own tier
lazier.
list.
Just made my own. Yeah, the idea behind that video, which aside from trolling, no one. I mean, it's okay that no one knew this. I didn't say it. I purposely didn't say what the point of the video was. I said that they would figure it out as they watched it. And what most people took away is that it's a troll video, which is true. But I was also secretly in my head trying to pretend that I was like the scrubbiest beginner of all time and trying to use all logic except the gameplay to figure out who's the best character. Because that's how people think when they first play a game. They think, well, this is the boss character, so he's going to be like one of the best characters. This character, not that strong in the story. He's going to be crap. Because that's how you actually think when you're just getting into fighting games, right? So I was trying to go with that kind of logic. And then I also did the whole like fanboy thing where like D tier is all the guest characters. Yeah.
You mentioned Thick Lena as well, didn't you?
Did I mention Thick Lena? Sure. I said she was a queen. Because I made the joke that like every clone character goes in C tier. So Frost is in C tier. Even like Jade is in C tier because she's just katana but different like, colors.
And
then I was
color
like, and
swap
also,
back then.
I put everyone down there. Even like Erron Black was down there because he's striker technically. But then with Melina, I made the exception. Went, no, Melina, you're fine. I put her one tier up. Went, you're okay, princess. Just because I like Melina. And that's the joke. If you watch the first 10 seconds, it's just me roasting people. Like I made fun of Kung Lao. I was like, oh, look at me, I'm Kung Lao. I do Liu Kang stuff, but I can't throw fireballs, so I have a sharp hat to compensate. And I thought it was pretty funny. I thought I did a good job roasting people.
That's a nice idea. That's a good video. The other part of that I remember, because I remember you made a video back a couple months ago where you were just talking about like, oh, your favorite games or what I liked and stuff like that, yada yada. So I kind of knew your opinions of the MK games in general. Even when I did my premiere of the MK versus DC video, I think in that premiere I mentioned saying like, this is probably the worst story mode in like MK in general, and you were just like, nah, bruh, nah. How could you say that when MK9's there? Nah, bro. I remember in the live chat saying that, so that was pretty fun. But oh, I guess do you
MK9 is so close to being a good story. They just fucked up a couple of crucial things, I feel like, but that's just me.
Feel like another topic for another day, but yeah, I kind of share a bit of that sentiment too. Just fix a couple of things to like. Anyways, back to the topic at hand, I guess. So, what's your favorite game, guys? I guess in a way we can also say our least favorite too. But yeah, so.
Well, my favorite is MK11, clearly.
Oh yeah, totally.
So is this a favorite MK or favorite game total?
Game, right? I think we should go game here.
Favorite Mortal Kombat.
Well, we should do both.
Game.
Yeah.
We'll do both. My favorite MK is Deception.
Mm-hmm.
I've not gone fully in depth on it, but I feel like people have a good enough understanding. If you watch this podcast, you probably have a good enough understanding of my content to understand why I would say Deception's the best one. Especially if you watch the Deadly Lights video.
Looking very forward to your like Deception review, which is probably going to be like what 6 hours or something because of the amount of content that's in it.
Well, that's the reason Deadly Lights one is so short is because there is no story mode.
Yeah.
It's basically just like it's not less discussing the story itself and more like how you piece it together. Yeah. Which I still think is really cool the way that was done.
Deadly Alliance is kind of like reading a novel. And so, like that's why I really like the way you put the video together, and edit it around, because you do like tell the story of what's going on, despite the fact that it's all text in the game.
Mm-hmm. See, Deadly Alliance should be the most popular story in the MK series because piecing it together is like piecing together a Dark Souls story, where you go through all the item descriptions and the lore to piece it together.
Put it like that. That's nice.
Except unlike Dark Souls, it's like, well, this is stuff that happened in the past. It's not relevant here. This is like piecing together what's actually going on because unlike Dark Souls, Deadly Alliance has a story.
Oh,
Dark Souls is just lore.
Exactly. Yes, Dark Souls is like, here is what happened 100 years ago, and you'll see the monuments of revenants of what
Dark
happened.
Souls is very Bioshock. You come in after everything's taken place, and you're like, oh, what the fuck happened here?
Which is why more people like Elden Ring, because it's a bit more half and half, where it's like there is past history stuff, but then like things happen in the game. Like I was like, oh shit, like
gotcha.
Yeah,
things
you're actively affecting things. Well, that's what made Dark Souls 1 DLC so cool, though. When it turned out that you were the catalyst for a lot of the shit that you encountered, like that was interesting.
Well, the best part of that was the fact that it can affect a few points in the game itself. Like if you play the DLC before you fight a certain boss, a cutscene changes because that character now remembers you from the past.
Yes, the very sad cutscene. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care for Dark Souls generally, but that was a really cool detail.
Indeed. What were you on? You were on about something about Deception.
Well,
your favorite game and favorite something, like a favorite MK related thing, I guess.
Favorite MK and favorite game in general. Yeah, my favorite game in general is Sonic Adventure 1.
Oh. That's what you mean. Your games, yeah. You know what's funny? I actually was gonna ask that question. I was gonna ask like what your favorite games are, just to see what your opinions would you have. So okay, you answered. We're gonna go there too. Awesome. Really, Sonic Adventure 1? You think it's that? I'm the Sonic guy.
Sonic Adventure 2 is also like up there. It's just for me, once you go into space, the levels in Sonic Adventure 2 are not nearly as good. Like City Escape is my favorite Sonic level. Period.
Fair, yeah, totally.
And the gameplay of Adventure 2 is clearly improved for all three styles, but with the levels themselves when you get to the second half are not that good. Whereas with Sonic Adventure 1, it's like the only part of the gameplay I feel is a drag is Big the Cat.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, Big the Cat.
Like that, which I understand. I can understand if someone was like, I like Sonic Adventure 1 a lot, but 2 is better because you don't play as Big. I can understand that viewpoint.
They don't like the fishing.
Because wow,
come on,
I generally don't like.
They bring that back to Frontiers. Come on now.
I don't like fishing in games in general.
Yeah,
the most tolerable is like
Snake. Have you watched?
The most tolerable is probably. Go on.
Oh, Snake, have you seen like that YouTube channel called Game Grumps and watched them play the big section? Have you watched Aaron lose his fucking mind trying to fish? It was so funny.
No, I stopped watching. I stopped watching Game Grumps. I mean, because the thing is, I feel like whenever they do Sonic, it's just an attempt to recapture the magic of the Sonic 06 playthrough because it was never finished.
That's true.
So and unfortunately, like it's never going to work. They're never going to capture it. And I love the meme though of like that Egoraptor is just got such a hate boner for the Sonic franchise, and like so it's like you can't take the things he says about Sonic seriously because he just hates it so much.
Yes,
Yeah,
and he refuses to play good Sonic games.
Basically, he essentially gets really mad trying to catch the frog while playing as Big, right, or whatever the thing is you're fishing for.
Yes. You fish for the frog,
and like. Sometimes it'll bite on and then let go and stuff. And he's like, oh,
yeah,
come on. And the best part of one of his lines, though, he goes, oh, my God, Froggy, please, the actual final boss of this game, please. So, like, he's bringing up how, like, that's the hardest minigame in the whole game is, like, that fishing scene, not even the final boss. And then I think...
I think that is the final boss of Big Story. You have to fish Froggy out of chaos. So
and then the best part is that after all that work, he still doesn't get to keep it because in the cutscene after, it gets stolen from him like right away.
Yeah.
Which he also lost his shit there too. He got really mad in the cutscene.
Big's campaign is structured like Left 4 Dead. You get to the big finale. Yes, we did it. We made it. And then something goes wrong. You have to do it all over again in a different location. It's the same structure.
It's just repeat fishing. Yeah, I do still find that very. I think Sonic Adventure, like Sonic stages and the Tail stages, are really great and stuff. So I do think that's very interesting that you would put it as like the best, your favorite game ever, especially since like because that like. Even back then, it was like, oh, is 3D Sonic good? Controversy still going around and stuff like that. But I can see why though. It's got a lot of charm to that game too.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but there is one cool little detail Sonic Adventure 1 did. I don't think any other game has done, aside from like maybe Fire. I don't want to keep bringing up Fire Emblem Three Houses like I was going to say. Like the only fishing minigame I can stand is Three Houses because it's so simple. You just press a button at the right time.
Yeah.
But it's like when different campaigns have different perspectives on the events.
Yes.
So it's something I didn't really appreciate back in the day. But when you get a scene in Sonic Adventure 1, Eggman's demeanor, at least in English, is very different between Sonic and Tails' campaigns. In Tails' he's a lot more intimidating because Tails is afraid of him, whereas with Sonic he doesn't take Eggman seriously at all. So for him, Eggman's a buffoon, and so like and that's why we're like. Scenes between Sonic and Knuckles or Sonic, Tails and Knuckles are very different between different characters because Knuckles views the events this way, Sonic views them this way. So like Sonic sees Knuckles like a complete idiot and very standoffish, and Knuckles thinks Sonic is somewhat antagonistic in this moment. Whereas Tails is a little more objective, but he's still like Knuckles is attacking us, and so it does that, and it's really cool. And I wish more games would do that.
That is cool. Yeah, I do like that. It's not you're not just complimenting the fact that the story's like intertwined because even then like Adventure 2 does it, Sonic 06 does that completely, but you're also talking about the fact that the different perspective of characters have different like mindsets and also the way they like approach the situation.
Yeah, it's not just like it's not just a different. When people talk about different perspectives on the campaign, it's usually just you've seen what this character saw. You're not seeing it how the character saw it.
Yeah.
You see the events what they saw, but in an objective manner. Whereas here it's you see the events as that character perceives them, which is a really cool detail. And obviously it takes more time. Animations will probably need to be different. Voice lines be different. Yeah. But if you can do it and pull it off, it's actually a really cool addition.
Yeah. One last thing I'll help you add, Snake, is basically it's best OST ever. Like the songs in there are just such bangers.
Yeah, but that's things like Sonic's one of those series where no matter how bad the gameplay can be, the music is pretty much always incredible.
Yes. Sonic Adventure especially does have some very good, whether it be stage tracks or even like the singing tracks are just like, oh, so good.
Yeah, like Open Your Heart, Live and Learn, What I'm Made Of. Even Sonic Heroes is just like fun and goofy. I love it. This is just some... And then Sonic 06 is like, we're doing this grand operatic thing with our main theme, opening with like violins and shit, and you're like, I love this, it's incredible.
It's so good. The Sonic 06 theme is just like, oh, so good.
That's just the worst thing about Generations, is that it didn't have a song like that, whereas every other one did. Even if it was just the one song, like Unleashed had one song as its theme. Generations didn't, and I think... You couldn't have got Crush 14 to do one track, just one.
Yeah, but like I do think Generations has some fucking awesome remixes of like the original songs. I cannot not listen to Generations version of Rooftop Run anymore because I think what I mean is Generations version of Rooftop Run where it's violin focused, whereas Unleashed it was more a rock guitar focus. I prefer that one Generations more. And like, yeah. Anyways, I'll go next then because I've got a pretty short answer for my MK game. I'm not like you guys. I'm not professional enough. Like I barely played like a lot of the classic games. I don't think I've ever played any of the 3D ones. So it's like my only answer is based off of the limited time or a little bit that I can remember of MKX. Because that's like the one that I do remember playing like slightly, and it's also a more better-ish story in the games. But like I definitely have to revisit this answer when I actually do play more MK games in general. Like, so yeah, that'll be my answer for now. Favorite game? Oh, what's up?
I have one question like about you and MKX. So when you did the early MKX sucks videos, I noticed that whenever like text appears on screen, like here's what chapter it is, that's not in English.
Oh, very simple. I didn't record my own games. Those are all cutscenes online.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, what was that Russian? Like, did you find a Russian YouTuber or something and get the footage from?
I don't know. It's been a while.
Snake.
And the thing is, even in my MK11 videos, people will be like, "Oh, you must be Portuguese because of the title cards I show up." I'm like, that's that's not entirely true. But
that would be funny if the subtitles and text were different languages every single time to keep people guessing.
Actually,
you must be Italian. Next video, you must be German. Next one, you must be French.
I should do that when MK12 comes out. That'd be kind of funny. But yeah, on to my favorite game. There are many games that I would consider like masterpieces, like the best of the best and stuff like that. But if I had to pick one, and it's a very simple answer, and I feel like you guys would just agree with me on this, Super Smash Bros.
Which one?
Well, I grew up with Brawl, but I think Ultimate just... I want to tie them, specifically just because I love the different modes in Brawl that aren't in Ultimate. Ultimate is like you have 80 fucking characters and 100 stages. How can this not be like the best game ever? Whereas Brawl, it was like you had Boss Rush, which was one of my favorite things ever, and I really don't understand why they couldn't bring that back in the newest one. And then people are controversial about this, but I love Subspace Emissary. I think that's like not just like one of the best fighting game stories out there, but just like the biggest like fan fiction love like story out there. And back when I played Brawl, I wasn't like a big Nintendo fan yet. I didn't know half the characters, so like I kind of got introduced into like these characters based off of Subspace Emissary too. And then like eventually I know a lot more about Nintendo now. But yeah, like I would say like Brawl and Ultimate are like my favorite games like ever. They're just such good like fighting games. Well, they're the kind of game that's like really fitting for like anybody to play. Oh, you're not really good at video games? Just play a party game. Just have fun. You want to get competitive? You can do that too. Just do all that kind of stuff too.
No, don't do that. They said don't do competitive. No, keep going.
Sadly, yeah, I know about the Panda situation, but yeah. And then I don't have any other opinions about the other ones because I've never played them. So yeah, I can't really say much about 64 Melee or the fourth one. But yeah,
I mean you're not missing much. 64 was very basic. Melee is overrated, and Smash 4 was awful in my opinion.
Ooh, interesting. Well, I did play an emulator of 64 from that when I was like a kid, and that's all I remember from it. But yeah, but yeah, that's my ultimate answer. Haha, ultimate.
Ultimate.
What I respect so much about Smash Bros. As a fighting game is that like it really did stay alive due to grassroots. Like the company did not want to keep that game alive for the longest time. Like they were totally down for abandoning it. But people kept playing it, so eventually their business side took over. We're like, you know what? There's money here. Like, we can't keep ignoring it. And then on top of that, it went from being, like, considered not a fighting game to most fighting game players. Myself included, when I was, like, in high school, I was like, not the same kind of game. Like, it's its own thing. Like, we'll call it a platform fighter, but not a fighting game, whatever. But now it is literally, inarguably, it is the most popular fighting game. Like, when there's a big tournament like EVO, it has the most attendees. Like, for EVO Japan, if they had it, it would have the most, right? It has the biggest prize pools, too, I think. So, like, it really is just, like, it's the biggest. It's the one that also has the most grassroots still happening. Like, there's still Smash Bros. Tournaments to this day. People keep the fucking TVs around for the original, like, Smash Bros. And stuff that, like, you need to use because it has, like, the fucking AV cables and shit.
Melee is still, like, so competitive somehow, even after, like, 20-ish years. Like, I don't think I've seen a fighting game live this long, and it's just still going. Yeah, people just love that so much.
So I know it's a meme, but it's like really the underdog of fighting games. So it definitely has my respect for like going from the least respected to like the you have to look at me fighting game because you have to. It's the biggest one. The only downside is the community doesn't know how to shower yet, but they're getting there. Baby steps. They're still stinky, but so we'll see how.
Very funny. All right, we left the finale for you, TrueUnderDawg. Take it away.
Did you say your favorite MK game?
Yeah, I did X. But well, I mean, like as I said, I haven't played all of them yet, but I'm just gonna say X.
Yes, I was a bit conflicted. I was thinking about it the whole time y'all were talking. So because MK9 has my favorite roster, just personally, and it's a competitive version of the game, but MKX has the best gameplay and the most depth to it, where you can like spend like years learning the characters and the matchups. What's up?
Oh, I was just gonna ask who did you not like the fact that they cut out from 9 into X?
Who did I not like being cut out?
I mean, like because you say you like the roster at 9 more, but like other than the they do a lot of kill-offs.
MK9 has the cyborgs. MK9 has Sindel. MK9 has Scarlet was a cool new addition that I wish could have stayed.
Kabal and
they
Striker.
had Noob Saibot, Kabal and Striper. Like MKX actually, believe it or not, if you get a time machine, that was one of the heaviest criticisms was that the roster kind of sucked for MKX. People thought.
Interesting.
At least
a
the
lot of
initial
original
roster,
characters
because it was mostly new characters, and the ones that returned, aside from Reptile and like a couple others, were not like fan favorite characters. So they're kind of like, what the fuck? And then for DLC, they were pretty brave too, because they brought back characters like Bo Raicho, which I was happy to see because I just wanted to see could he be done well, because I felt like he could be, and they did their best to make him done well. So that was cool. And they brought back Tremor, who had never been a playable fighting game character technically, like never been his own separate character technically. Yeah, you can play as him in the fucking challenge tower on the PSP for MK9. Doesn't count. It's not really Tremor,
Brown Ninja.
So his first time being an actual standalone character you can play as, and they went really hard with it. He doesn't just control Earth. He can also become crystalline. He can do lava, like all this cool shit, right? Like it was awesome.
I would say, like, one of the things I do think that NRS does good is, like, when they take characters who either don't have a lot or haven't been used a lot into their games, they really go hard and, like, make them actually pretty unique and good. Like, it's because of MKX, I do think that Tremor got a bigger following and stuff like that. And why, Tremor is snowblind, that's so awesome and stuff like that.
I have so many casual friends that like Tremor is now their favorite character, and they want him to be in like every game, which is so funny because he was not a playable character until very recently. But my point was that MKX took a lot of risks because those DLC characters were like nobodies. Like Bo Raicho was a nobody, Tremor was a nobody. Like who's next?
Tanya
Dyro
wasn't too popular either. No Dyro. Yeah. There's no Dyro in the game.
No, but I was saying like who's next? Dyro. Like who are they gonna add next? Who's obscure and try to bring back? Tanya, I think, was great. Like, she was also a fantastic DLC character. She was too good. Actually, I made a whole video about that. She broke the game for a bit. Like, she broke the meta.
Sonic Fox played her.
I like how they tried to make her more than just another fire character, because there's so many fire characters. And she still does fire, but they gave her her own thing to make her a bit more unique. Her costume design kind of sucks in
I liked how they changed her from the story mode too, because in the story mode she was that, but then in the DLC she's like a completely different character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they got some backlash for her not looking at all like canon to how she's looked in like past games. Yeah, I understand that, okay. Which is funny because they didn't complain about Rain with that. Rain was just suddenly a different race than MK11, and everyone's like, okay, yeah, it's whatever. Which I don't mind either. But it was so funny that he was not just like a different race, but like despite being Edenian, he uses like completely different weaponry, like from India, I think, right? Like, a lot of his weapons are like Indian inspired. And I mean actual India, not dumb American Indian, where we call Native Americans Indians. I mean like actual from India.
Yeah.
Like he has their weaponry, which is funny because he's a Denian, so he should have the same weapons that Katana and Jade have access to. But whatever. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, as long as they use water, it's rain. But yeah, it was kind of cool though. I agree. It's cool that like with Tanya, they looked at it and went, you know what, they're right. She should have the solid white eyes. She should have the longer hair. She should have a darker skin tone. Like that, they were right about making those changes. Thought that was cool. But yeah, my point was MKX had a bad roster. A lot of people thought, but it ended up working out in the favor by the end, because by the end people were like, it's okay. So I was having a tough time choosing, but I have to pick MKX just because it has the better gameplay. 9, as I keep going back to it to make throwback videos, there's so many mistakes in the gameplay. Like there's so many flaws and gaps and stuff, even down to the hitboxes and hurtboxes. It's so frustrating to like learn combos with some characters because their hurtbox or hitbox is like pretty much non-existent, and it's very frustrating. That problem does not exist as often in MKX, and there's so much depth to the variation system and stuff in X.
Ah.
So, and even though I know the story mode isn't that eventful, which I think is why a lot of people don't like it, is because not much happens technically. If you like did a bulletin board of what happens, like not very much gets accomplished. But from a character standpoint, I like it a lot because I like to research characters, and I like how that's the game where Sonya decides that, like, fine, I will give up my revenge on Kano if it means saving people, whereas Scorpion does the opposite. Scorpion's like, nope, family's killer has to die. Fuck Earthrealm. So like they're both the opposite, and they have the opposite consequences. Like Sonya gets what she wants. Scorpion unintentionally, indirectly frees Shinnok by like, you know, by like bringing Quan Chi out into the open, which he shouldn't have done.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you have Scorpion and Sub-Zero burying the hatchet, which was cool to finally see in game form, because we've seen it before in endings, and we've seen it before in like text and stuff, but I don't think we've ever seen it actually happen in a scene. Now the scene itself wasn't that great. It wasn't done super well, but it's cool that it happened. It's just kind of cool that it happened.
Yeah.
It's forever going to be a meme to me now in my head that like Sub-Zero approaches every conflict with tea.
Cup
like
of tea.
yeah. Like I don't know how else could he do, like be like yeah, I know that Katana, you're very upset to learn that like Shao Kahn was not your father. I have him right next to me. Here's some tea. Have a seat.
I'm making the tea right in front of you, right? From
Let's talk about it. And like he's just spinning it in his hand to cool it, which I still think is cute. That it's like it's too hot.
Cute,
so like he's
cute, yeah.
putting it, he's like cooling off with his hands. It's a very subtle touch. But I think X had a decent story when you break down the character development. Is it stupid that Kung Jin defeats Kotal Kahn? Probably.
Oh yeah.
Is it stupid that the rebellion between the different factions of Outworld is boiled down to just Melina's dead, so now the conflict just ends? She didn't have any follow-up commanders, like nothing. The war's just over because she died.
The humans are working with Devora?
Yeah, aside from the very initial fight where like Kotal Kahn gets ambushed, we never see two armies go at it. So we don't understand the scale of the rebellion. And so like that often gets overlooked. So on paper, MKX had a lot of cool stuff that it could have dived into, but it pretty much like does the bare minimum with all of them, which I'm sure had to be a time constraint or like budget constraint or something. Or hardware limitation, who knows? Because that even that fight in the city is not a very big fight. It's like 30 people fighting each other. Doesn't seem like two armies going at it.
You mean the beginning of the movie or beginning of the game?
Yeah, when like Kotal Kahn gets ambushed, there's not that many people.
Oh, okay, that's
like,
the second
in the
chapter.
Fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the
in the beginning.
First chapter
The assault on that was actually a well done scene. That scene was actually done okay, I think, because you see actually tons of demons and shit. Although it is really funny to me that like you see like just martial artists surrounded by a bunch of soldiers. Like I don't know. Maybe they could have mixed in like other throwaway martial artists to make it seem like they were also collecting martial artists, because it's like, hey, we found that despite Gun being so powerful and you'd think Gun is best solution, these martial arts dudes get it done. So let's find as many martial arts experts as we can. So like, what if next to like Johnny Cage, you just had like a UFC fighter like just like getting ready, and then next to him like a boxer just ready, and they all die too. Like, they're just cannon fodder also. But it would have been funny if the government was like, dude, we need everyone's help on this. Like soldiers, yes, but also the best fighters we can find. I need to see fucking. Go ahead.
Isn't that literally the plot of Street Fighter V?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Indirectly, yeah. But in the world of Street Fighter, I think that like, because it's like a game from Japan, like Gun is just less common. Because Gun like actually illegal in Japan. So almost none of their characters have guns. That one lady does with the Uzi, and that's it. And it's even brought up that it's weird to have a submachine gun. But yeah, that's my answer though, is Mortal Kombat X. As far as favorite video game ever, I can't tell you.
Okay.
I like them too much. I will say I'm very emotionally attached to the Bioshock series, but as a setting and as far as the atmosphere, because they nailed it so well. And to this day, I really hope that some crazy billionaire with Elon Musk level money does just decide to make an underwater city so I can go there and just enjoy it, because that sounds really fucking cool and I want to do it.
I gotta play those games sometime then, because if you highly rate them that much.
Bioshock 1 is almost a masterpiece. The only thing that holds it back is that today, by your standards, it may feel a bit dated gameplay-wise.
Oh, don't worry about dated games. Like, I love Dark Souls 1, and that game is really dated. So like, I think I'll be fine with that.
people still make fun of how the main character, despite having like one hand has his superpowers and one hand has a gun, that you can't use both at the same time. You have to like drop your gun to fire lightning and vice versa. Yeah, you gotta switch.
That was probably the first thing on the design docket for the second one. Either that was first or second, the other being playable Big Daddy.
Yes.
Like they were the first two things that they put on there. But yeah, I recommend Bioshock. At least 1 and 2. I think Infinite's absolute garbage, but 1 and 2 are really good.
It's pretty hot take.
And because of the collection, it's really it goes on sale all the time. It's really easy to get hold of them.
There's even the HD
I don't really like
Sonic.
over where you are, but
Okay. Infinite's the one where they're in the skies, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
it was purposely
gotcha.
it was purposely meant to be a subversion of what you think, because they went from being as low as you could possibly be, which is the bottom of the ocean, to being as high as you could be, which is like literally in a flying city. That was definitely like the idea behind that, I think, was the fuck you. I was kind of hoping if they didn't get canceled, which for some reason that studio got dissolved, despite it making Infinite, which sold just fine. Like it didn't flop or anything, but they still got dissolved.
It's a pretty big game, yeah.
And I was hoping the next game would be space, just because fuck you. Like the next one's in space.
Well, the thing with Bioshock is I do have like one bone to pick with the series, which is it's like like Dark Souls was for FromSoft in that they did other games, then this one thing came out and it was so successful. Everything they've done since has been that. Because after Bioshock 1, the only game Irrational made was Infinite.
Yeah,
they just made those two. But before that, they made fucking Freedom Force. Okay, and Freedom Force is like my second favorite game of all time. And I was going to do like a big video on the series earlier this year for the 20th anniversary, but unfortunately the footage got corrupted, and I'm like, fuck.
Too bad.
That is the worst. Yeah, that's the absolute worst.
I agree with that. Like FromSoft just can never shy away, which is like an advantage and a disadvantage if that's just what you want. Which is why when I did the marathon earlier this year, like I was fine with that. And then when they go different, Sekiro, it's out of everything else.
What I meant was, Sekiro isn't highly regarded compared to the other FromSoft Souls-like games. I personally find Sekiro to be the best FromSoft game.
And it's funny you mentioned Bioshock 2, Snake, because if you recall, maybe only I remember this, but it got delayed by a whole half year or something crazy like that. Like it was supposed to come out, and then last minute, like pretty last minute, like the week before it was supposed to come out, it was revealed like, oh no, we're not releasing it for like a whole nother year. And there's been a lot of talk that they completely scrapped it. Like they may have scrapped like most of the game and changed a lot of story parts of it, which could explain why in the trailers the big sister seems like the big bad final boss that's like your actual rival.
Yeah.
But then when you play the game, she's just an enemy type that shows up multiple times in the game that you can kill multiple times. And I'm like, huh. She went from being like an actual force of nature. Like I don't know if you've seen the trailers or not, Sonic, but the big sister is like literally God in one of the trailers. Like she can make a hurricane around her and just summons it out of nowhere, and like it's like, wow, that's a final boss. So in the game, when you fight her pretty early, like in chapter 2 or 3, and she just dies, you're like, huh, that's weird. I had a disconnect between reality and what I perceived to be true when I looked at her corpse and just looted it. I was like, huh.
Pretty cool design. Looking at her.
Oh, she was great. She was on all the magazine covers. They were really trying to push this character, which is why I think they scrapped a lot of shit, because she becomes just an NPC that you like fight multiple times.
Yeah. I wonder if perhaps the intention was having like the big rival thing, but then they wanted it to be like an alternative to the big daddies, because if you're just going around fighting big daddies, they're the big threat. Like it was just like the first game, really. Plus, Big Daddy versus Big Daddy, it's like once you've done it once, it's not that interesting. So maybe the thought process was, let's have the thing that is clearly designed to be like almost the antithesis of the original. This one's fast and agile and all that. Like have that effectively replace the Big Daddies in the role they used to have, because I mean they were the big intimidating thing. I mean even the original trailer for Bioshock 1.
About Bioshock? I need to use the bathroom again.
Even the original trailer for Bioshock 1, like it's like just one dude getting fucking killed by a Big Daddy. So like one could infer that was gonna be like a single character from that trailer. So
you know what's crazy? I just had a thought, and I could be writing for the writers, which you should not do, because you always like your idea. You always think is better because hindsight's 20/20. But what if this was their original idea? The whole plot of Bioshock 2 is like the first little sister is like his daughter to him. Like he has that bond with her, right? He even raised her to an extent. So. And then she's gone, but she's sending messages to you in Bioshock 2, but you don't know where she is, right? What if the big fucking final twist was that by the end of the game, you've been fighting the big sister this whole time, and it's actually her? but her mind is separate from its body. Like she's stuck in there. And she's sending messages to you, and you've been fighting your own daughter this whole fucking time, but she's fully grown in the big sister body. That'd be a fucking crazy-ass twist, I feel like.
Was that not what it was?
No. She's just a regular girl in Bioshock 2, but at the end, she puts on the costume to help you out.
Right, that's it.
That's why I'm wondering, because like they already had the assets ready for her to like be in the big sister outfit. So what a crazy twist it would be.
I wonder if that was the intention, but because people loved the twist in Bioshock 1 so much, they were like, well, that twist was so good, people are going to expect something similar for the second one, and the antagonist being the hero, the female antagonist being the girl you're looking for years later when she's grown up. It's like,
it is very similar. It
would have been a bit too obvious.
Again.
So
I didn't think about that. But you know what's cool about the Atlas twist, though? What's his name again? What's his name?
We're trying to. Sonic's gonna have to edit this. We'd want to.
I know,
but want to convince him to play.
You're right. Damn. Well, I was gonna say that one of the posters in Fort Frolic gives it away, which is really cool. I didn't notice that until someone pointed it out. It shows you where the inspiration for that character came from, and you're like, holy shit! If you were paying attention, you could see that and be like, it's kind of odd that that's the exact same name as somebody. But yeah, it's a pretty cool twist. 'Cause it's a movie poster. It's like a fictional play or something. And I'm like, oh, cool. Very cool. And that's why Bioshock is so cool to me. Because they do a really good job crafting a world that felt lived in. And I find that really interesting. And the fact that you learn backstories through ghosts that just show up is fucking cool. Ghosts just show up and start talking. And you're like, what the fuck? Huh. And of course, the Big Daddy was the coolest thing I had seen in like years as a kid. I was like, that's the coolest fucking thing. I even made a costume for Halloween, and it was pretty good. It broke though.
I think it says a lot that when they did PlayStation All Stars and they had 2 stages that featured Bioshock Infinite locations, the Bioshock rep was still the Big Daddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's such a cool design. I mean, I like that they tried alternate versions of it. Like I think they designed 3 and used 2. Then the other one showed up in the third game, in the second game rather.
Sorry.
Yeah. Like, I think that the original one with like the round helmet and the drill is just like so iconic.
He's too cool. Because the cool thing about the
design.
Big Daddy is it makes you wonder if it's like a machine or a person, because it's like, how could a human fit in there? But the Rosie the Riveter is too obvious. It's like it stands upright. It looks like a person. Like, you know, that's like a person in a diving suit. And same with Subject Delta, the one you play as in 2, and you fight like copies of yourself, like that are also Deltas. They're just like dudes in suits. It's still a cool design, but nothing beats the creepy ambiguity of the Big Daddy, where like you can't quite tell, and it even makes sounds like a machine when it like dies. It goes like it's being powered down almost, you know. Whereas when it's walking around, it sounds like a moaning living creature in there. So it's very creepy. And of course, when you play the game, you learn what they actually are. But as the player, it's like there's so much mystery to it. Not to mention, I think everyone loves the idea of like an enemy roaming around that's big and intimidating, but doesn't actually engage with you. Just a fun concept. Yeah.
It's kind of funny that there's an enemy type called like Rosie the Riveter, and it's not female. Yeah. Like you think that'd be the female equivalent of the Big Daddy, but it's just another Big Daddy variant.
I guess because they wanted to have a universal name for all of them. So they all have to be like Daddy. Daddy? I'm sorry, Daddy. Nope, Daddy? Sorry, Daddy?
I just heard like someone kept saying Daddy just then.
Yeah, because we were talking about Big Daddies in Bioshock.
Hell yeah. All right, so I guess we should move on to the next question. Here's the thing. Do you guys have anything interesting you want to say about a least favorite MK game? Because that was one that I didn't put on, but I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I never played Special Forces, but I imagine it's the crappiest one. Aside from ones that don't work, like Snake said, like the advanced and Game Boy stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of MK1 because or MK2 even, because the special move inputs are so fucking weird. And there's almost, aside from special moves, there's no more diversity in the characters. They all have the same they all have the same sweep, and they all have the same uppercut, jumping kick, jumping punch, which I get is kind of what set them apart. But it's kind of weird how, even compared to Street Fighter 2 that came out before, everyone had unique attacks in Street Fighter 2. Even like their punches and kicks were all different. Then you play MK where like they're all the same, and it's kind of boring.
Again, I think also a factor with that is because it is filmed with real people. So probably there's a limited of what you can do in poses and stuff. But
no, shut up. Stop with your logic. Fuck you.
I think this next question, like, despite the fact that we kind of know a lot of what each other's answers would be, I think still should be quite fun. Favorite and least favorite MK characters. So I feel like I know like some of your most hated ones, but I'm not 100% certain about what TrueUnderDawg's favorite would be.
You know my favorite. You probably don't know my least favorite.
Yeah. Well,
is your thick Lena?
I would
I'm gonna
assume
pick
it's
Melina.
either.
Sub-Zero's my favorite in the lore. Like Sub-Zero's my
Yeah, that
favorite
was what I was
character
thinking.
story-wise, but I feel like every game I know what Sub-Zero's gonna do. Melina, yeah, I know she uses size and that she can teleport, but I like what's cool about Melina is one, she's a fashion icon. Like they can do whatever they want to with their outfit. Like she's always like the Lady Gaga of Mortal Kombat. You can do whatever and it would make sense.
Objection. I think the Lady Gaga Mortal Kombat would be Sindel.
Or, I mean, possibly. Yeah.
Just
I just meant as far as like
just that style, I think.
personality.
And also,
but
I do believe Melina existed before Lady Gaga's career began. Therefore, Lady Gaga is the Melina of the music
There you
industry.
go. Facts.
Ooh.
Don't be a science denier, Sonic. But yeah, I say Melina
Oh,
because
it's my fault. Okay.
I never know what Melina is going to do, like with her move list. Like they can always add new stuff with her. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking before she even came out in 11, but she was like revealed in the cinematic trailer. I thought, dude, like what if they take her dive kick teleport and instead like she throws the size behind you and like teleports through you or something sick like that. I was thinking of all these cool ideas of what you could do with her, you know, and that's why I think Melina is cool. But also, like I've said many times, Melina is like the mascot of Mortal Kombat to me because she's just pure adulterated character. Like everything about her is like kids stay away, not just the blood, but like she's got her titties out, you know, all that stuff. So she's meant to be like the poster of this game is not for kids. And that's why I like her so much.
What's very interesting about Melina is like she's probably the first MK character I've ever seen and really had an impact on me when I was like 12. It's like I saw some YouTuber play MK9 for the first time, and she's like, all these rosters of characters. I picked the pink ninja girl, and it's like you just see her fighting, and at the very end on the windscreen, she just takes off her mask and does the thing, and it's like, oh, it's so disgusting. I'm like, oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's what really separates.
I thought you were going to say, "Oh, that's so hot."
I mean, you never know what I was.
You had your awakening from Melina being like, ooh.
Like that meme you put inside your video where the guy like hits on that chick and like she's a xenomorph, like the second mouth comes out from like Jake the Dragon or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then he goes,
jackpot.
Like he's even happier.
Yeah.
That sounds like me and all my Devora conversations, or like me and the Shiva conversations. Like still a hot chick, but she's got 4 arms. Yeah.
The what do you call it? I've always wondered because for you, TrueUnderDawg, because I think me and Snake, if what we're gonna say our favorite or least favorite character, it's gonna be based off of the lore or because of like what they look like and stuff like that. But you actually, I feel like gameplay wise, will affect who you like more or less.
Yeah,
so
Melina is the rushdown character, so she's definitely like gonna be a fan favorite always. Except in 11 when they somehow got that wrong and unintentionally gave her one of the best projectiles in the game, so she became a zoner unintentionally. And they also made her godly slow, and like her only fast move has like some of the worst range in the entire game. So Melina in 11 is just so lacking, but her projectile's good. So
it's so weird because in the trailer she did look really fun and rushdowny, but then people were like, she's so slow. And it's like, huh,
she's very slow. She's one of the slowest characters in the game. Yeah, and like a lot of her attacks hit high, so you can just duck and uppercut her. So she's really lacking. She's got so many lacking things. And they took away fundamental stuff from past games. Like, she cannot do telekick into side toss. Isn't that awful? Like, you know, she always has a little dive kick and then she throws a sai in the air? She can't do that in 11. It's not possible. She can do the side toss by itself, but she can't do it after the dive kick. You know who can? Katana. She can throw the fan. They gave it to her instead. But yeah, so that sucks, because she also has her teleport too. But yeah, I'd say Melina is my favorite.
You know what else they gave Katana? Melina's sai.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Yeah. I can't wait for MK12 when she takes away Kung Lao's hat. Still waiting for it.
No, she'll have Sindel's hair.
Sindel's hair. Oh God.
Katana hair.
Crazy, dude.
It's a genetic trait. It was the whole time.
No, as far
Katana
as
would take off the mask and start screaming.
They're all competing for last place. There's so many bad characters in Mortal Kombat. I have to think like. Okay. I don't want to say Dairo, because I think Dairo is actually pretty close to being a cool character. I don't think that he's actually that bad. I think if he just hadn't been bald, people would have liked him.
I completely forgotten that he's his lore is that he's a mercenary, which actually kind of makes sense why he shows up in Snowblind, because he's a mercenary.
Yeah. He also, I think, used to be an agent of Order.
Yeah, he was. He and Hotaru used to be in the Seidan Guard together, but then he left and became a mercenary, and now he's being hired by Darius, so he's against Hotaru.
Yeah.
Which is what like that's the kind of like interesting character dynamics and complexity you just don't see in MK anymore. Nowadays it'd be more like, oh, this guy was a good guy, but now he turned bad, and that is the character.
And
now that's as complex as it gets.
Tell me the lore of the Kollector. Don't just like put him in there. Wow, what an interesting looking character with all these gadgets. What is his bro? He's a tax collector. Period. Like, come on.
Yeah. I fucking did more with him in my fucking fan fiction.
I read that. Yes, you did. You did. I was Shang Tsung part. Yeah.
Not to mention, like in typical science fiction writing, not just Mortal Kombat, like they're guilty of this, but so many science fiction writers, or whatever you want to call it, fantasy writers, are guilty of this sin, where they introduce a unique character that looks completely different, and then just go, oh, by the way, there's an entire species of them, and it's like, that's stupid. Stop doing that.
And they're all the same. They all do the same thing.
Stop doing that. Kollector could have easily...
all the Tarkatans are the same.
I'm just brainstorming right now, but like, Kollector could have been a sorcerer that just kept fucking around with black magic, and it just slowly altered his body to look that way, constantly using black magic, and now you have the way he looks. That's also why he's a master of all the different relics and shit, because he just loves studying sorcery and magic and shit, and that's why he looks that way.
He could even just making him another Flesh Pit's creation of Shang Tsung would have been more interesting than literally just a taxman from a certain species that we never saw before.
What I wish they did, my headcanon is, I wish they turned him into like the RE4 merchant, because in the crypt he is a merchant. So like play into that. I would have loved to see like that played more. He's like a neutral outworld like alliance merchant kind of character. Like that would just do something with him. He does have a cool design, but nobody remembers him because.
But then again,
he does fuck off in the story.
Yeah, he does fuck off, except for that first scene where he's kind of cool because it takes like 7 guys to restrain him. But then it's like later on he's just a jobber. But yeah. But then again, I'm very picky, right? Because I still hate the Goro's part of a species that'll have 4 arms. I would have liked if it was like rare to have that mutation. But like nope, everyone's got 4 arms. Goro's only special because he's bigger. Like, he's just physically bigger.
He's the prince. He's the prince or something.
But that wouldn't make you stronger. Like, usually being royalty makes you actually frail. But I guess for, like, Mortal Kombat's sake, it makes you stronger. Because usually they're all inbred. Plus, like, apparently the Shokan have control over this species called the Oni that are even bigger than them. And I'm like, okay. That was in the comics, by the way. It's a stupid thing.
Okay.
But, it's dumb. So least favorite character, probably I don't want to say Cobra because that's everyone's punching bag, and if not for Kira's redesign in Snowblind, I would have definitely said Kira because she's like the placeholder of a placeholder. At least Cobra's gimmick is that he's a regular dude who does martial arts. He's like Art from the first game that got scrapped. You know, he does martial arts and he's a Cobra Kai parody, whatever. He's got Ken Master shit going on.
Did you just say Art from the first game that got scrapped? Like,
yeah, it wasn't Art. Like, the character Art in the movie that dies, the Mortal Kombat movie.
I thought that was an original character for that movie. I didn't know he was going to be in the game.
I thought maybe Snake would know, but I thought he was a planned character at some point for Mortal Kombat 1 because his art of fighting is like his joke, or martial arts is his joke. So
I'm not sure. I know there's like I know some there was. I think there was one for. It's hard to say because there's some cases where this concept was there in the early games, but then it got turned into this other one. Like, Baraka was just like some bald monk guy, then they changed him into what he is. Jax was more of like a kickboxer, I think, originally. Yeah. And then they changed him into like the soldier man. It's possible, but I don't know of Art being specifically like a planned character or a concept that was reworked for the movie.
The reason I think he is, the reason I'm going to keep that theory going is because if he was made just for the movie, they would have given him a regular human name. They wouldn't have given him like a pun name, like martial art. That's a game thing, I feel like. Like that's game puns. So I think look at the 2021 film. His name's Cole Young. They didn't give him a pun name. He's a brand new character, and they gave him the most generic "I am dude." You know, his name's not even like based on anything. Like Johnny Cage, like Cage Match, like that's kind of cool. Sonya Blade. Actually a weapon, you know, like Sonya Blade.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have anything. He's just Cole Young. So I guess I have to say before the redesign, Kira might be my least favorite Mortal Kombat character because she's just a big fat nothing burger. Like there's literally nothing about her. She only exists so that Cobra has someone to like have as a partner, I feel like, because Kabal had to have 2 apprentices. Otherwise, it'd just be like him and one other guy. So I think they just made up Kira. And I actually think a lot of the other dumb characters can be redeemed, like Moloch and Draman and Meat. I think they could all come back and be cool. And Kira could be too, but Kira would still, even if they went with the Snowblind design, her gameplay would still just be another version of Serena, where she like throws knives and maybe knows some martial arts and can maybe do some sorcery. Like she'd just be Serena.
Well, the gameplay concept was that she was an amalgamation of Sonya and Kano. That's why she uses their styles and weapons.
That's so lame, though. That's just a copy, you know what I mean? That would be like if I said, oh, here's a ninja, but he's Sub-Zero and Scorpion. And that became Reptile, but he's still his own character, right?
Here's a ninja. It's Sub-Zero, but she's a girl.
Exactly.
To be fair, MK does that a lot, like just copying. Like how many clones of Kano are there?
I would have respected Kira more if she was just a gender bend of Cobra. I would have respected her more than being a copy of 2 existing characters from the first game. Like, that's just weird to me.
Okay. Interesting.
Why does she even do the Kano ball? She's taught by Kabal.
Kabal?
Yep, he goes into a ball. God damn it.
That's funny. You answered your question.
Yeah.
Shall I go? Oh, by the way, I just... he's a very cute fan art I found of the redesign of Kira on somebody drew.
I saw somebody posted the cute one of the new Frost Lin Kuei too, where like Sub-Zero is separating Frost and the Lin Kuei girl from fighting each other, like, and they want to fight, but he's holding them back, and they're all chibi style. I think it's like super cute. I gotta
see that. That seems very cute.
Damn, this Kira has some cum gutters or whatever you call those. Like she got some nice ones.
What?
She got she has the Adonis muscles. That's the muscle line that goes from your crotch to the side of like your pelvis up high.
The pelvic lines.
Pretty much, but like we call them Adonis.
The pelvic arrow.
Okay, I heard something like cum dumper or something.
That's from the newest Rick and Morty episode. Like they get in a fight and the one dude like acknowledges and calls them like cum gutters or whatever, which I've never heard them called before. And even Rick goes, "I hate that term." And he goes, "Who cares what you fucking like?" And he like attacks them. But I don't know. I just thought that was funny. You called them cum gutters or cum shoots, one of the two. So,
my favorite character is obviously the concept art lizard character from Deadly Alliance, the Tiamat.
Now, it's clearly the guy who's on your screen right now.
Oh, yes, of course. How could you miss him out? See, there's his arm right there. Kotal Kahn is like, I like him, but mainly more because of a meme on this channel. He's like the easiest guy to make a video about why he sucks in the story mode for both MKX and MK11. And he just kind of blew up, and that's kind of why I like him in a way. But I mean, he's also a cool design character, of course. Like I do think like it's an interesting concept to try. What if we did a Kahn but not completely evil and not like a character we know of? Like, so it's a cool idea. I like the Aztec styles and stuff. That's the one I played it. That's the nation I played in Age of Empires all the time. But of course, MVP, my boy Reptile. Here's the camera. Reptile, baby. Jeez, I don't really know what else to say about him that I've already gone on. I feel like I've made like dedicated videos as to why I like this character already. So you can check that out on my channel. But basically, Scaly Ninja is cool. Gay.
Reptile's the shit. He was also my favorite character for a bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's basically just as simple as that, really. You know, I actually kind of want to bring this up as a funny topic to mention, but like, because I said one of my favorite designs of his is the one in Scorpion's Revenge, and like after that, basically, I always somehow like bring that design back into my channel as like doing meme poses and stuff like that, and like it's kind of become to a point where like I literally have gotten people like mistaking it for my mascot. Sometimes people are like, yo, that's a very cool OC you've got there. That's a very cool wrestling OC you've got there. And I'm like, thanks. But that's not my character though. But what I'm trying to get at is basically the point. I've kind of made this character who's only appeared like for like 1 or 2 minutes in Scorpion's Revenge a bit of like my mascot on my channel. I feel like since you are talking about the Lin Kuei girl from Onslaught a lot, I feel like maybe you could try something like that for yourself too there, TrueUnderDawg. Just like constantly bring her up and constantly meme her around and like eventually slowly kind of kind of make that your identity in a way.
Yeah, I mean, like next time when Ed Boon does one of his Ask Me Anything, if y'all actually like see it pop up like in real time, 'cause I'm always too late for it. I would love to just have that be my question. I just want the picture of the Lin Kuei girl and like, will she be in the next game, like in any way, shape, or form? And I know his reaction is going to be, "Who is this?" Like with a question mark. He's probably not even
or
gonna,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like who? Or it goes like, "Oh, it's just Katana." Some like stupid joke like that. It's just Katana, but she's cold. But
I tried once and it's just like, oh, he just posted this 1 hour ago and it's closed. Just within 1 hour.
He's quick with it. Like he's quick with it. Yeah.
But it's a lot of questions though, so I can totally understand. So my most hated character, and I'm kind of shocked, Dog, you didn't actually. That was a cute rhyme, shocked Dog. But I'm kind of shocked you did not mention her. It's Kronika.
Kronika. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've made an in-depth 30-minute video talking about why I hate her. So it's like there's so many things about her that are just so easily hateable. It's just like what like she's stupidly OP, and yet like of course none of them are used because of plot conveniences. She really has like elements that make like pisses off like previous lore fans. It's just like Elder Gods were the highest thing above, one being Titans. They're the new trend, baby, and stuff like that. But I think the biggest reason why I hate her is just because of how stupid she is. It's just like, I have all this like experience and like I've done this thousands of times. What could go wrong? Oh, a very simple like factor like an aftermath where it's like you don't have the crown to start the universe anymore. Who cares? I'm gonna continue my original plan and just basically do the same thing. It's just like, of course you're gonna freaking lose. But yeah, like Kronika definitely most hated character easily for me.
I understand that she like really fucked up the lore, and not only is she OP, but they don't even have the ability to explain what her powers are because they're intentionally vague. That way she can lose, but otherwise it makes no sense. Like, why was she able to erase Raiden, but she can't erase other people? You know, like, little things like that. I actually
chalked that up as a random factor. Like, oh, it just like happened to erase him. I don't think necessarily she did that. That's my way of looking at it. But
you've
don't really know.
You've heard my weird harebrained theory, right, for why it happens? I think I've mentioned it before.
Only
like
one god can exist or something? I've forgotten.
Well, because Raiden doesn't... Whenever she freezes... Until they fucked it up in Aftermath and ruined this by... Like, they fucked up their own plot thing. Before Aftermath, Kronika was never able to freeze Raiden. So it implies that Raiden is constant, which makes sense. He's a god. And Spawn is like this too in the Spawn comics. You can't freeze time on Spawn because he always has to exist. So like you can't stop his canon, if that makes sense, right? So what I thought happened is that when she merged the realms, there was future Raiden and past Raiden in the same spot, and one of them had to go, and they can't get rid of past Raiden because that would mean future Raiden never existed. So instead, like the past Raiden took over because he hasn't made those decisions yet to become Dark Raiden, and so it just fizzled out the future version. That's what I assumed happened because there can only be one Raiden because he's constant at all times, and the future one has to go because the past one can't go. That's what I thought happened, and I also think I'm still holding on to this theory. I also think that's why when Raiden fuses with evil Liu Kang, it pulls good Liu Kang into him too, because at that point Raiden became Liu Kang, and there can only be one god, so suck him in. That's what I think happened to fuse them all three together. But I could be completely wrong. It could just be shitty writing, and they hope we don't notice that Raiden, for some reason, could teleport Liu Kang right to him for the fusion. But
Well, the first part of your theory is, I think, is pretty much confirmed by what is Raiden theorizes that is the case in the game itself, that only one of him can exist at a time.
Yeah, he says something like it's a more special case for him, like or something.
Yeah, and like the rest of it's an interesting idea, and but at the very least, like Raiden clearly could not be frozen by Kronika. He wasn't affected by her powers, and that was an interesting way to justify Liu Kang beating her at the end, because her powers don't work on him anymore because he is fused with Raiden. And then Aftermath is like, no, he can be frozen. She just needs to hit him first. It's like,
no, you can't.
What are the rules
you
here?
Reset the hourglass in timelines. You have to use the crown, despite the fact that it's done that in the arcade endings too.
Yeah, and this is another thing that bugs me. It's not that big a deal, but they change the effect when people get frozen. They turn to sand statues in Aftermath. Yeah. Just the people and all that. Like, I'm pretty sure like the leaves in the trees are still moving. They don't get turned to sand. It's just the people.
Not special
but that
enough.
Wasn't the effect. But that's not the effect originally. Originally, everyone just froze in place, and that was it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
which was creepier because like you didn't know what was going on. Not to mention like it's so funny how Kronika is all powerful and weak at the same time, and people got mad at me for this in my own reaction let's play to like the Aftermath story when Shang Tsung and when Shang Tsung and Fujin team up on Kronika and she has to leave because like she can't handle the spice,
all
right?
the attacks,
but when you think about what's actually happening, is it's just wind. Which I get wind could actually hurt you. It's a tornado, right? But like Shang Tsung is just summoning demons. Like you're telling me that Shang Tsung. You're telling me Shang Tsung this whole time had the power to do shit like that and just never cracked it open. Like he never like on Raiden did that. If it can hurt Kronika, it can definitely fucking hurt Raiden. But he never tried to do that. He never tried to backstab Shao Kahn with that. Like that's a fucking SS tier move apparently. But it just never came out. But what I said instead was like, wait, aren't these just regular demons like attacking Kronika? Like why do they hurt so bad? They're just like regular undead, like revenants. Like, why are they hurting that bad? Like, why is Kronika like, oh no, fire, my only weakness? Like has
something like that.
I mean, to be fair, fire it does seem to be her weakness because she's made of sand.
That is how she gets defeated. Yeah, in 11.
Which maybe that was the intention. Like that's the idea, and so they could have leaned in. I mean, by that point, we at least know fire can kill her because we saw it in the main story. So maybe the writers were expecting us to pick up on that.
But she can't be made of sand. She fucking bleeds. Like she has a brain
well,
and everything inside.
Garrus is the same. Garrus is the same. He bleeds and he's clearly made of sand.
One,
like he gets his head cuts cut off and then his head like turns into sand or whatever, reforms on his head. Yeah. But like, where's the blood come from? This is a bad
example of rule of cool because they wanted her to turn into glass like when she dies, like a cool little nod. Like, oh, it'd be so cool if she turned to glass when she died. But they forgot that in the arcade ending, she gets her head split open by a piece of glass, and she's clearly got all the inner workings that like we associate with humans and shit. So she's not special in that regard. She's just human looking.
They should definitely have made a like sand blood effect for her and Garrus,
or keep the blue purple blood that they had originally. They didn't keep that. So mad. That was such a cool fucking feature.
We don't have a lot of characters with like other than red blood, and it's like Garrus was gonna be one of them, and it's just like nope. Why not? Like come on, Now we can't use Garrus in the Fatality compilation video without getting demonetized now. We have to use Devora.
even Noob Saibot doesn't have his black blood. It's still just regular red in MK11.
But black blood is in the game for the cyborgs in the story mode. But I guess retexturing the innards would have been too much work.
There's also a weird glitch that happens all the time where sometimes Devora bleeds the red color anyway, and even her X-rays are sometimes red. It's annoying. It can happen. It's rare. But it can happen. It happened to me several times while recording, and it was such a subtle difference that I didn't even pick it up until like watching the video weeks later. I'm like, wait, why is Devora bleeding red in this video? And I'm like, oh shit, she just bleeds red.
Interesting. I never thought about it that way actually. The fact that
and then she had
that she had like the red sometimes. That because like in X and 9 it's X-rays, but in this game you do see like red blood or innards and stuff like that. I guess I never really thought about that.
And also what's kind of funny is that like Cassie Cage had a weird glitch at one point on Devora only, which I don't think could even be replicated very often in an actual match, but in training mode it was super easy. If you hit her with the X-ray from Cassie, there was a new X-ray they added, or a new crushing blow they added. If you hit Devora with that, all of her like spider legs went away. They just disappeared. For the whole rest of training mode, she just didn't have them. She can still attack with them, but you're getting hit by nothing. It was super funny. I don't get what caused that glitch, but I think Rooflemonger made a whole video on it, and I was like, damn, that's a video topic? Shit. I should have jumped on that, because I noticed the glitch. But
the weirdest glitch in Mortal Kombat ever.
Right? Just steal the idea.
We gotta put most in there somehow. This is why the most odd glitch. Yeah.
See, this is why Kronika is a really bad character. Is because just talking about Kronika brings us back to hating on MK11 story mode and stuff. So it's just a prime example.
Yeah.
But now let's move on.
She also got gender bended too. She was originally going to be a guy.
That. Yeah, they've said that before. Yeah, which doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
No, I think she's more cool and unique as a lady, actually.
Yeah, it's like she's the only big bad boss that's a lady, I guess, if you really think about it. Unless
for Mortal Kombat, yes.
MK9.
Well, for a final boss, though, she's the only one. A lot of other fighting games have done that. I was shocked to learn how many fighting games have had women as the final boss. I didn't know that. But Kronika is the first one for Mortal Kombat. I will always hate that you can't knock her down. She's such a weird boss fight. The fact that you can't juggle her is just so stupid and weird. Yeah. And that's lame, because she could have done some really cool, weird shit. Like, imagine if, like, you did a big-ass combo, and the screen just froze, like, the world style, and unwinded everything, including you, like how Garrus does for one of his, like, special moves, and she gets all the health back. That would have been so fucking cheap.
Yeah, she only uses rewind one time in the whole entire story mode just to fix up the building, and then never again. She has that ability, apparently.
Yeah, she is the rule of cool done wrong. Like, they wanted the cool spectacle of her building an entire building, but she never does it ever again when it would also help. She could have rebuilt the entire Lin Kuei facility after it got destroyed, but she didn't do it. Like, there's just too many plot holes. Like,
she could have probably revived. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. But like, if she can rewind time, she could literally just come back, Kano. I mean, you died. I know, but who cares?
If somebody ever made a parody of MK11, which they won't, but if someone ever made a parody like dub over it, imagine she like rebuilds the entire castle and then goes. She's like really out of breath. Like, what's that? What? Okay, now. On to step 2. That at least explains why she can't do it all the time. Like, that would have been funny as shit, but...
True, yeah.
But then she wouldn't be intimidating, so she can't do that.
You know what would have been cool is, like you mentioned how like you can't knock her down. Imagine if, like, because the boss fight is split into phases.
Yeah.
Imagine if she could be knocked down normally during like the final phase. Like, she's weakened, so her power, she's not using those powers that way, and so some of her normal attacks are a bit stronger because she's getting desperate. But stuff like that, she's not even thinking about like teleporting back to her feet or whatever. She's like having to slowly get back.
She starts walking
opens up your options
instead of floating.
Yeah,
that'd
she
be
starts
so
not
sick.
floating anymore. Because like in the prehistoric age, she does like get a dinosaur onto you. Maybe she starts relying on more like stuff around her and stuff.
Yeah, it's that one of those video game logic things where it makes more sense gameplay wise for a boss to get more moves and like be tougher during like the last part of the fight, whereas realistically that's when they're going to be weaker, and not many like there's like Sif from Dark Souls and a handful of other bosses that are like I'm weaker now because because I've taken damage. So it's like, which makes the most sense, but it makes more sense to ramp up the challenge as the fight goes on, really, from a balancing standpoint. But it would have been cool. But you can balance it out. The character's weaker in this way, but stronger in this way.
Yeah,
Like, Kronika realizes she can't beat you on her own, so she's calling in more stuff to help fight you. That's what they should have done.
Yeah. All right, now on to the finale. I'm actually, I know the 2 characters you hate the most, but I think I know the answer for this one. But yeah, go ahead, Snake. Take it away.
Well, see if you two can guess my most hated MK character.
Okay, should I? I know the 2. Should I just say the 2 first, TrueUnderDawg?
Yeah, go for it. I can't actually guess the correct one. I was gonna jokingly say it's probably a NetherRealm original because he doesn't like the NetherRealm characters, but
actually no, it actually isn't. It's a tie. Well, it's not a tie. I know you hate one of them more, but it's basically the 2 characters is either Twindell or Quan Chi. These are the 2 that you do hate the most.
Well,
but that's the thing, though. I know you don't hate Quan Chi that much nowadays, right?
Well, for some reason, I wasn't even thinking of Twindell at all.
Oh, really?
I was thinking of like the 3, and I was thinking of the 3 bold evils: Quan Chi, D'Vorah, and Kronika.
Interesting.
But,
you can't hate D'Vorah.
Well, because I think like with Quan Chi, it's more of a meme now. It's more just like because of what they gave him in MK9. Like, MKX did it better by making him the dipshit he always was again. Then Aftermath is like, no, he was totally that same mastermind the whole time. He planned out Sindel's death and all that. Like fuck you. But that's one of the reasons why Quan Chi's so great in Scorpion's Revenge, because he is a complete dipshit and he always has been in the games prior to the NetherRealm stuff. So it's really just his role in that particular story that I hate. But like, not generally, Quan Chi's fine. He's inoffensive. D'Vorah just pisses me off because how often she gets to kill people and just like normal main characters don't kill as many people.
Yes.
Main villains don't kill as many people. Why does D'Vorah kill more people than Kronika and Shinnok combined?
I see your point, but how dare you call Quan Chi not offensive? Every time I get hit by that damn his little fucking trance shit, and I have to walk towards him like a damn zombie, that shit's traumatizing. That actually does offend me. Like, that happens too often, and it's super annoying. Yeah, because the MK9 was more obnoxious, like it was like the big hand thing. Yeah.
I do say, I think it's kind of interesting that I would assume you do hate Kronika, but I didn't know you put her that high up there.
But what is...
She's pretty bad. She breaks the game.
because Kronika is so important to the narrative of not only MK11 but
like kind of everything.
As of MK11, the entire franchise. Like, everything is her master plan.
Yeah.
And her master plan is so inconceivably unclear and idiotic, and it just does not work from a storytelling standpoint. And so the entire structure of the franchise's narrative kind of falls apart because this one character is so ineptly written, so where you don't understand how her powers work, what her limitations are. Every step we see her take in her plan is so brain dead. I'm going to bring back all the bad guys, but also the good guys too. These two guys who are the only ones who can beat me, who are currently fighting each other to the death. Yeah, instead of letting that play out, I'm going to bring them back from the past when they were still friends. And for some reason. And it's like, I've said it before, but if she had done nothing, if she had just not taken any of these major steps, she would have won. Because no one would have known what was going on. No one would have known she was here, but because she made a big show of it, which could have worked if that was her character, that she wants to be all showy and she's overconfident, so she's like just to entertain herself, like, haha, Raiden, you stupid bitch, I'm gonna beat you yet again. And then it turns out, oh no, that was a bad idea, now Raiden's gonna beat me. That could have worked, but
I'm actually
no, we're just supposed to
defend Kronika. I know I hate that, but I'm just gonna defend her
Why?
a little bit because she did kind.
Why?
But you get my point immediately, because like I would say that is a little bit of their intentions with the first MK11, because she has that one scene where it's even like she tells Raiden, "You are welcome to try," of course, and then she takes away Liu Kang and stuff like that. And I think throughout MK11 there's a really big thing about how she's completely underestimating the heroes throughout the whole entire journey. She's just like, oh, Kano, like the Black Dragon's gone, who cares? I literally just, I don't care about them anyway. Shao Kahn's gone, I don't fucking care because we have the crown, or I'm gonna win anyways. So I think there's a little bit of that factor in why that's also her downfall. But like, it's completely inexcusable in Aftermath when she knows she fails, she knows she fucked up, and like and she already died once, and what she's gonna do? The exact same thing she did in MK11. That is where I'm just like, you are a fucking idiot. Like literally, like, you are arrogant, maybe, but here you don't get to do that.
Also, we're forgetting something important to also hate Kronika about. Her design is pretty fucking bland. Like, especially the head, like it's just a bald lady with blue eyes. I like the I kind of like the attempt with the weird colored lipstick, like the icy blue lipstick. But it made most people think that she just had chapped lips, because she only like does the outer rim is like blue or something, so it looks like she's got chapped lips or something. And it's like, no, it's just the lipstick they're going for. But yeah, Kronika sucks. When you mentioned her being a dickhead to Raiden, I just pictured her like holding his hat too high, like, what's wrong, Raiden? Can't get it. He's like, fuck off, Kronika. He like, can't get his hat. Basic shit. But like the problem too is like, I could be wrong, because like they do a bad job explaining her motivation. In fact, I don't think she even does it. I think Raiden dropped it. So I think her motivation, apparently, from what I understand, her motivation was to create the perfect timeline where her son, who is darkness, and her daughter, who is light, exist in perfect balance, was like her goal, which I feel like happens as long as they both don't die. The only person who kills Shinnok in the new timeline is Cassie. So all she had to do is that, like, the day or week before, the hanky-panky happens between Sonya and Johnny, she could have frozen time and just, like, put a birth control pill just, like, on the back of Sonya's tongue. She goes, what was that? And it's like, she didn't know it was a birth control pill. Now she can't get preggers. Or in the middle of sex, before, like, Johnny climaxes, she just, like, freezes time, pulls his dick out, puts a condom on it, puts it back in, and now no babies. Like, there's so many easy ways to, like, stop them from conceiving Cassie. Of course, they obviously just kill them, right? Just kill them both. Or my favorite technique would have been, like, whenever Johnny Cage is, like, wanting to bang Sonya, she just, like, moves a supermodel, like, into frame and is like, hey, Johnny, look at that hot piece of ass over there. And he's like, you're right. And he just, like, leaves and goes for her instead.
This would be a very funny animatic right here.
Yeah.
You could do the reverse Flash thing. It was like, it was me, Johnny. It was me. I jerked you off with super speed.
He finally gets to be intimate with Sonya, and he was nuts right away. No, and he's so embarrassed.
Johnny's there, like, inside Sonya, then she freezes time, moves him. Right there, so that he's ready to go, but she tilts him, so it's outside, and it's like boom, and he's like, what just happened? And it's like, it was me, Johnny, it was me.
Jerked you off at super speed, so you couldn't conceive Cassie.
It's kind of funny how the meme Kronika, who is just like based on a meme of Eobard Thawne, is somehow a more competent villain than the actual Kronika from the story.
If you want to get even eviler, you know what she could have done? She could have like showed up after the conception, then just like float next, just show up to like Sonya the same way she showed up to Jax.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there. That's a bit grim.
Snake does be too low.
That's enough R-rated stuff from you, dog. Let me add a little bit here to the motive thing, because I go in
Snake
depth.
already knew where I was going, the son of a bitch. But yeah, go ahead.
Of course, I know where you're going there too. But the whole motive, the whole motive behind Kronika is like thing. It's like, okay, you're talking about the time traveling things too. I'm talking about the fact that, okay, so like, why can't you find anyone else to replace Shinnok if he keeps dying over and over again, which is like the reason why she resets the timeline over and over again. I even made it like a theory in my video being like, that's probably like a fake motive. She just probably likes resetting the time over and over again, and that's just like an excuse to get her to like do this over and over again. And when you mention the motive, a good character or a compelling villain, I think, needs to have a reasoning for what they're doing and like why they do this. Because I did the comparison with Thanos. It's like, oh, you know why Thanos wants to snap half the population away. You get him. Why does Kronika want to do any of this? Why is her character like this? It's never explained. It's like, it adds to more how she's a bland character, in my opinion. Oh, but they want to go like, she's a gray area character. Ooh, she brought in Jax because like she maybe cares about her. No, fuck that. She's just a bland character. She's completely bland.
I feel like we get the strongest indication of her motivation through Garrus's non-canon ending, where he basically makes out that she's just insane and that's it. Like, she's just doing stupid things because she's lost her mind, and that's it. Like, that's as good a motivation as we get, because anything else just doesn't really work. Yeah.
So random thought. I know hindsight's 20/20, but what if instead Kronika was still Shinnok's parent, but she's not the master of time? She's a different kind of god entirely. Whatever, you know.
But she's just
and instead the hourglass is something that she knows exists and just needs to find it, and then she's gonna rewind time just to bring her son back to life. What if that's the plot instead? Then she's compelling because she wants to save her kid, and she's more mysterious. You don't know what her power is yet, maybe for most of the story. And she's not a dumb bitch who saw it all coming and could have stopped it all. It's her first attempt, like, doing it, you know? It's just, there's 1,000 different ways you could have done it.
This is why in my video I was like, Kronika isn't just like the worst character in Mortal Kombat, she's like the worst video game character ever. It's just like, it's a bottomless hole of just shit that you can just keep getting out of her, honestly.
Kronika is so bad that the Snowblind version, where she is just a skull with a crown on it, is a better character because it's not a fucking negative.
Yes, I like it. I like that she's dead. But yeah, anything you want to add about Kronika, Snake?
No, it's just like so. The way Twindell like ruins Sindel as a character, Kronika kind of ruins the entire narrative of the franchise. So she is that, but like exponentially more of a problem. And so that's why Twindell would easily be the second most hated.
Good thing I'm reminding you about her. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it'd be like Kronika, then Twindell, then Devora,
Quan Chi.
I don't even know if I'd put Quan Chi. The MK9 Quan Chi, I'd probably put him above Devora, but like Quan Chi in general, he's fine. Yeah. He's inoffensive. There are worse characters.
I guess none of us said Jarek. Jarek's pretty fucking bad too. I'm surprised none of us brought up Jarek.
There's a difference between hating and not giving a shit.
So some people will say that like
Suhao,
indifference is worse. Indifference is worse than hatred.
Yes.
Whereas for other people, it's like indifference is a nothing. I just don't think about the character. Whereas the one I hate pisses me off. So it depends on your values. I don't care for Jarek. I mean, I think the most interesting thing they ever did with him was when they pseudo retconned Jax's like that encounter from MK4 in his Armageddon bio. and like, where it's like, oh yeah, Jack's threw me off a cliff. It's like, but Sonya's alive, and he only does that after you throw Sonya off. So either you're lying, which is hilarious, that he's lying to save face, or they've retconned the story. But either way, it's funny.
That's the ambiguous shit that we like, baby.
Yeah, that's the biggest legacy Jarek has, is that throwing off Sonya, saying ah.
Yeah, him falling. Yep.
Yeah, so I like how like Snake hates Kronika based off of like a lore and how it messes up the whole entire continuity perspective. And that's partially why I heard it too. I also just hate like how incompetent she is in the story mode, basically. How like stupid she is.
Yeah.
Kronika is what happens when you want to make the boss so incredibly cool, and that ends up biting you in the ass, because it means like them failing is that much more embarrassing.
Conceptually, she could have worked. It's a somewhat shaky concept, but it could have worked with the right execution.
Yes.
But the execution, though,
I forgot, because you made a video talking about like your own TV series. Did you mention Kronika at the end of that? I kind of forgot if you did.
I might. I'm not sure if I did, but I would rework Kronika into just an elder god of time who isn't Shinnok's mother. It's more like she just has like her ambition, and it's for whatever reason she wants to change things, and so she's allied with Cetrion or what have you. I don't. It probably probably the best thing you could do with Kronika is just forget she existed, just remove it from the series forever, because. Because, you know, so a character like Su Hao or Movado is just like one new gimmick away from being cool, like Stryker was. Where he was like, no one liked him until MK9, when they gave him when they changed him up just a little bit, and suddenly Stryker's cool in MK9.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't say that now because he's a cop and people are dumb, but with someone like Kronika, I feel like I said, even conceptually, it's very shaky. It's difficult to make that work at all. The best. That's the kind of character who deserves to be turned into a punchline. Like Johnny Cage's like, what can the villain for Mortal Kombat the movie 12 be? We've done everything else. What can we do? I know, some kind of evil god who wants to rewind time. Nah, that's stupid. No one would ever accept that. That's the best you can do with Kronika. Just turn her into a Scrappy-Doo joke.
Yeah.
Keep Garrus, because the gimmick of time travel is, I mean, of short-term time travel is cool. Like 10 seconds ago, that's fun.
Yeah, Garrus is fine as a character.
Yeah. Like Garrus is the best implementation of time travel in the series, except the part where he's supposed to be super tough and get stronger every time he dies, but he just keeps losing.
Yeah, sadly.
That's just NetherRealm not accepting that like you should be able to play as the villain sometimes.
Yeah, if Garrus was a good guy, he'd be one of the coolest characters in the series, but because he's a bad guy and never gets to win, he fucking sucks.
Yeah. I guess it's hard to put Garrus as a good guy, because then, like, oh, what's Raiden's point then if you got another, like, time god? Well, then Fujin's in the game, I guess, too. So.
Speaking of good guys and bad guys, that's one more reason to hate Kronika. She ruined Cetrion's entire character. Like, Cetrion is clearly meant to be the goodest person in the room, like pure nature, pure light, and love and forgiveness. But because mommy said do a bad thing, I have to do it. And then becomes a literal hell monster.
Like, really wasted characters too. It's just like you have
so wasted.
Like a galaxy of potential with her, because she is an elder god. It's like, what do you want to do? Mommy's girl. That's it. Period. Like,
and the Avatar.
Come on.
When they revealed her, I really thought she was going to be the one that helps fight against Kronika, because she's so powerful. I thought she was going to be like the final one who kills her, and I'm like, didn't even do that. They stacked the odds even more against Liu Kang by having him fight an elder god and a mommy of an elder god.
Titan.
The least she should have done is the least she should have done is because Liu Kang is now a god. She should have promoted him to elder god, because she has the power to do that as an elder god. So she should have done that to make him more powerful.
That's true. Yeah.
To make his victory over Kronika a bit more reasonable. That she should have done at least that. But no, she's just like, I'm gonna. They have some lines with some moments that set up. Oh, but is she gonna turn against Kronika because she doesn't like this? It's like, nah. Like her own motivations don't matter. But Mummy says to be a naughty girl, so she's gonna be a naughty girl.
She only gets a bit more interesting character in her RK ending when they replay that, and Cetrion's like, actually, Liu Kang's right, and then like rebels against Kronika. Like, that's the only interesting thing, I guess.
But then it's just evil then, where she makes her own timeline with Raiden and Shinnok as like her enforcers. Like,
well, I think the ending was like she made the world very cruel, so that way they would appreciate when things are good or some shit like that.
But yeah, but
evil,
it's like it's basically like it's like my mother's wrong. You know, she's going about this all wrong. This balance thing is bullshit. Evil. That's where it's at. like Cetrion's the kind of character who her ending should have been she makes everything good, and then we explore how that makes things worse if everyone's good. Like it's too pure. In
Everyone's
a sense,
killing themselves because life has nothing to strive for or fight against. So they're just like, I'm out of here.
Something.
That all her approach to it is like, you know, when they have the idea of like brainwashing people to be good, like the morality of that, where it's like that's a bit dubious.
It's Superman and Red Sun.
Forcing people to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like Squadron Supreme had an arc about that. Like that could have been an interesting direction to take Cetrion. Like she is she's effectively lawful evil in a way.
Yeah.
Like she sees herself as like the ultimate purity, but she's actually like if not balanced out by like reason, she's just completely fucked.
Yeah, I think Cetrion would be a perfect character to put into like Order Realm in the next game or something. Like she just really would fit there.
Well, guys,
yes, a god of light, she's a god of order.
You guys, there was that one leak that the allegiances will change. That fake leak that said you're going to have the same characters but on different sides. We could have Cetrion on the good guy side.
Oh yeah,
just Jax.
Good guy Reptile.
Just Jax, right? Basically.
Oh no.
It was like Reptile's a good guy now, wasn't it? And
yeah,
like,
Reptile and Frost are good. They were saying, yeah, Reptile and Frost are going to be good in Mortal Kombat 12. Which means she's going to look just like the art that I put in the chat. She's going to be that version. I sent you all both, like them fighting, and the one of like just her. Same artist, by the way. She's got range.
That's really cute. I like that. Yeah, you know what? I'm starting to like her design more too. It's just like I like that. I like the snow hoodie that she has
Skirts.
there. It's like I'm starting to like that design more too. So now, the big boy finale that Snake's about to say. Who's your favorite Mortal Kombat character? My guess, I don't really have a good guess, but I think you do like Sindel a lot. But do you like her as much to the point where she's your favorite character?
No, she's up there. But I'd say she's probably my second favorite. Melina would be third. You probably can't easily guess who number one is though.
Oh, Melina's third. Okay, that's also pretty high praise for her.
Liu Kang tends to be my main in the games. Him and Raiden.
I really want to think about this.
And Sub-Zero, but
I don't want to say it's Scorpion. It seems like too obvious, but
oh, I know who it is. I know what it is. It's your boy. It's your boy, Johnny Cage.
Yeah,
that's right. I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, who doesn't like Johnny? Like, come on now.
I mean, except in fucking Legends, like holy shit.
It must have been hard for you, man.
Hopefully by making
it must have been hard.
It is, but hopefully making him the main character in the next one means he won't just be like there to occasionally remind you who he exists by being annoying. And hopefully they'll give him some depth. Like that's all we can really hope for at this point because this version is just so bad. And that's why it's so shocking because like compare that to. It's weird when you're like, yeah, compare this alternate version of the character to what we currently have in the games, and the current game version is better. What fucking dimension are we living in here?
Yeah, I wanted to...
That doesn't happen.
I wanted to bring this up in the, in our eventual Snowblind discussion, like live stream, but I think I kind of want to mention it here, but... Because Snake, you've mentioned your dream Mortal Kombat movie about how like it's a Johnny Cage like made movie of a movie, right?
Well, at least do that as a trailer for the marketing. Like here's the trailer for Johnny Cage's movie based on it, or retcon the NetherRealm games to be Johnny Cage's terrible movies.
Yeah, yeah,
like, something like
that. And
also
you mentioned like a documentary or something like that, and the ideas of that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like, it's a solid idea because it's a way of doing another movie based on MK1 where it's not just... I mean, imagine Johnny Cage found footage Mortal Kombat movie where he's got a cameraman following him around, like the cameraman who like dies at the end or whatever, and Johnny escapes. But like it's like that's how the world finds out about the tournament. Is like Johnny Cage was filming as like reference for when he makes his own movie based on it, or to show off it. I was in this cool martial arts tournament.
Yeah, yeah.
That could be so fun.
Kombat.
What I'm trying to say is, I feel like there is a very, very high, or the chances are getting higher and higher that Cage Match might be that. just like based off of like how I feel, like how they're talking about the movie, where it's like, okay, Snowblind was very serious, but like Cage Match, do not take it serious at all. It's like completely bonkers. It's like, I can't believe they're letting us do this. And it just kind of sounds like, yeah, why wouldn't they go with that approach of making like a Johnny Cage movie that he made, or like
they said
found
that, huh?
footage, like you said.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to bring that up too. It's,
I didn't think that Snowblind was serious. I was laughing the whole time with Snowblind. I thought it was goofy fun.
oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, like they tried to go with a more like, oh, Logan,
Dark
like,
tone, I
Mad
guess.
Max.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
I
right.
thought of a way they could fix Johnny. Right, what you do is you make it that the Johnny Cage movie is a documentary or a biopic where someone else plays Johnny in recreations of it. So you get a different person to voice him, and then you have a cameo by the real Johnny Cage, played by Joel McHale, and you get Andrew Bowen to play the actor who is playing Johnny Cage. Oh, that would be
Do you
great.
think we'll get any moments where they break the fourth wall? Like he grabs an enemy's head and shoves it against your TV screen and like cracks it? You think we'll get any of that?
I really hope they go crazy with this movie, because it does seem like it's the kind of movie that you can do that. So
It's
just-
meta, but
yeah.
better than She-Hulk. He's gonna stop and go, wait,
well,
is this the scene where I die?
You know, it's just because you know when Johnny, you know that fatality where Johnny throws the head at the screen and it cracks. It shouldn't crack. It should have knocked the camera over.
True. Strong-ass camera.
It's just cool. It's just cool, I guess. You know.
That'd be, yeah, but it's like anyone can crack the screen. Like why not have Johnny and acknowledge the cameras because he's the movie guy.
My favorite thing about that isn't just that fatality. I love more than that the random victory animations you get in between rounds. I love when he like goes back to his spot and the boom mic hits his head and he goes, "What the fuck?" I love that shit. That's my favorite, because I can't tell if he's mad they fucked up and they're unprofessional, or if he's genuinely having a fucking Truman Show crisis right now where it's all fake and he's freaking out.
I've got a great idea for a fatality Johnny could have where it cuts to the opponent's first person perspective and he does like a big spin kick, and then the camera falls over when he kicks it. Like he's filming like him kicking someone's head off in first person from that person's perspective, but he ends up kicking the camera, but he's not supposed to. And it's like, oh shit! And then like Johnny, that cost $50,000. It's like, oh no, somebody's gonna kill me.
That's the fatality.
That money was supposed to go to Cassie's college fund.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
I thought that's why she joined the military. She wanted the free college.
She's gonna have to join the military now.
Oh no, that's the real
That's the
reason.
reason.
But yeah, anything else you want to talk about? Why you like Johnny the most as your favorite character?
Because he's fun. He has personality, which most characters in the series just don't have anymore. He's just like he can. It's also one of those points of unity for the fandom. I feel like most people, whether you like the newer games or not, can generally agree Johnny Cage is a delight in these games, which is weird because like prior to the NetherRealm games, he just was like the dumb comic relief guy who wasn't anything special, and then all of a sudden with the NetherRealm games, he's really fucking cool.
I agree.
And he has heart too.
Yeah.
Like him interacting with Cassie. Cassie is just really great.
In the 3D era, I genuinely, like, because I was a dumb kid, I guess, but, like, just like you were saying, right? Like, in the 3D era, I thought worse than him just being the goofy character. I thought, like, I wanted him gone, because he was just a dude with, like, a karate belt. Like, he just had the champion belt, and that's all I thought of him. Like, he's got sunglasses, he's lame, he doesn't throw fire, he doesn't, like, use ice power, he's not a ninja, so as a kid, I hated him. And you're right, like, they did a good job bouncing him back with, like, the recent games, with, like, making him really a part of the story and stuff. Which he already was, like, canon-wise, and you pointed out before, like, in Armageddon and Deception, like, he's doing shit. Like, he's a cool character, but...
Yeah. I guess also, other than NRS, it would be the 95 movie that definitely, like, helped him out there, too, give him personality.
Mm-hmm. This is where you fall down.
Yeah.
I love how they bring that back as well a bit later in the film. That's fun.
Heading for a fall, Goro. I'm gonna kick you in the fucking balls.
My own thing here, but like I like how I made like a joke where basically like at the when he was fighting Gro, he says those are $500 sunglasses, asshole. And then like in my video, I just made it. Those are $5 sunglasses, asshole. Just cut the 2 zeros.
Those are $500 assholes.
But yeah, like the outrage that you said about like how people just unanimously all like Johnny is like you can also definitely see that like hugely in the new 2021 movie where people like are bitching and crying about why Johnny Cage is not in this movie. It's just like that's the heart and soul of Mortal Kombat there too.
Yes. I believe those were my exact words in the review of Scorpion's Revenge. I said that Johnny Cage is the heart of the movie because he's the most human.
You mean compared to everyone else? Okay, maybe, yeah.
Well, yeah, because he has that one line that I really like, and I mean, I know he's like a dumb like joke character in the movie, but I did love the one line when they're like, "No, we have to fight. That's how Mortal Kombat goes." And he goes, "Did you declare the Mortal Kombat fight? Did you?" And even Scorpion goes, "Nope." He shakes his head and he goes, "Then why can't we just talk?" And I was like, "Yeah,
He's
awesome.
Like, good,
I like that."
good. Then nobody needs to die. Jeez, yeah, I love that scene. That scene is like my favorite Johnny Cage scene in the
Probably his only good scene in the whole film. Yeah.
We hate Johnny, I know, but like a lot of people do. Even casual fans, they do like Johnny in the Legend series too. So I won't take that away from what they like too.
I will. I'll take it.
I didn't hate him in the first one. I hated him more in the second one because they purposely took all of the momentum he had from the first movie and shat on it.
Yeah.
Which bothered me. I was getting so hyped too, man. Like I cannot tell you how hyped I was when like he said that line and the camera panned up to the tree and he had his own theme. And I was like, dude, Johnny Cage's so fucking cool in this movie. And then he jumps down and falls. And I'm like, what the fuck? He does his own stunts. He shouldn't have stumbled there. Like what the hell?
It's so funny because like I'm somewhat the opposite. It's like, yeah, fuck Johnny. I like how he's stumbling here, and like people in the movie literally shit talk him and stuff. It's like, I like that.
Damn it, no.
But that's of course not why I like Johnny too. Yeah, the same reason as Snake and the NRS stuff. You know, the funny thing is, even though we might have other questions too, we're like 4 hours in now.
This is the 2 hour 20-minute mark for the second one. Yeah, we've crossed the threshold into too Longville.
Yeah,
we should stop. Sadly, despite I know we have fun questions, but I always knew that we were going to be able to like chat a lot about just these sort of things too. So I
think we should try and make this whole bring a question each time, like each episode. Try and get through one question.
Oh.
Can I give y'all one question that I wanted to do? Because I had it planned for the whole thing, and it's like really quick riddle. Y'all can try to solve it. I've already mentioned it before, so maybe you'll get it right away, but I'm hoping you have the memory of Dory from Finding Nemo. Okay.
My questions are like, I don't have to ask them like right now. Like I can just ask them anytime too. So yeah, sure.
Wait, hang on. So is this going to be released 2 weeks apart?
Yeah, for sure.
So this part right now is the Christmas episode.
Probably, actually. Yeah, probably.
Merry Christmas, everybody!
Put it in the intro. Do your magic, Mr.
Yeah,
Snip.
special Christmas. This is the special Christmas episode we've been planning since before December, guys. Wow!
That's your Christmas gift. We finally paid off part of what we were setting up from the first episode. And that was like that was like 4 months ago.
And Snake, something cool happened with your glasses. When the purple wore off, it turned red. Your glasses are actually Christmas now.
Oh,
when the glow wore off,
yeah. My Christmas present to let's see, the people who listen to this podcast.
I should have brought my Christmas. I should have brought a Christmas hat down.
Oh, we did. This is gonna be the Christmas.
The true Christmas special was the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
See, it's so much of a nice Christmas surprise. Even we didn't know we were doing the Christmas special.
Yeah, guys.
So we
Wow.
My birthday really is close to Christmas, huh? Feels like just this morning we were celebrating my birthday, and now it's Christmas. Crazy.
Oh
how
my
time
gosh!
flies.
Happy birthday, TrueUnderDawg.
Well, not now.
Is TrueUnderDawg Jesus all along?
No, he wasn't born. He wasn't even born in December. They fucking moved that shit. He was born in a different time.
Yeah. Born in September, from whatever. Anyways, the riddle.
No one cares because they didn't worship it.
Riddle me this, Batman.
Here is the question. It's a Mortal Kombat riddle. Which Mortal Kombat character gets less sexy the more clothes you take off?
D'Vorah?
I don't think
There's a lot of
that
answers,
easy.
huh? There's a lot of possible answers.
I don't think that's the.
D'Vorah is sexy to somebody. This character cannot be sexy to anybody. The more clothes they take off, even to kinks.
The thing is, though, is D'Vorah doesn't even wear clothes basically in the 11th game, so it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So who's a character who? I mean, if Meat wears clothes, again, this is a question that you can get like a lot of answers with.
I know, unfortunately, but again, this is like even kink people couldn't find this character attractive.
I have to assume this is a pun related, or is it, or just actually?
Kind of, but it's literally the answer though. It's the only actual answer.
So you're saying who looks more unattractive?
Who looks less sexy as their clothes get taken off? Yeah.
Okay. I do kind
There's
of want to try
technically
to...
two answers. That's your first hint.
Technically two answers. Ooh.
Because this character comes in two.
Ah, okay.
Ferritor.
No, that's not the
Ferritor,
answer,
no.
sadly. Yeah.
Though I agree, because that's just sirens. Like police sirens, I mean, because Farrah, I don't know how old she is.
Sirens. What are you talking about? She's a 5,000-year-old lolly.
She might be.
Let's see. Not to be like actually rude, but not to be like you know what? Maybe I should cut this part out. In the concept arts of the Snowblind, she's got like tits.
Oh, Ferritor?
Yeah.
Well, in some of the MKX concept art, she was drawn considerably older. She was still small, like she was still dwarfed, but she had like adult woman features. So I do think they were maybe going for that.
She does look a bit more like an adult in the Snowblind concept because they actually have her like standing up like in the concept art too.
Yeah, they're meant to be a parody of like Mad Max, which is like Borderlands also. And in Borderlands, the psychos are just like little people. They're not actually kids that you kill like the psychos, you know? Are they actually called midget psychos in the game? I can't remember if they're called that or not. But
no, they've changed it now. They don't call them midgets anymore since 3. To be politically correct.
But yeah, my point is like I think Ferritor is just a gender flip of that. Like she's supposed to be a female adult that's just really small, but then for some reason at the last minute I imagine they decided to make her like an actual kid for like the humor of it.
Yeah. Okay, so is it Scorpion?
No, oh, that'd be funny because he's a skeleton. No.
Yeah, because as you take out the clothes, slowly gets more and more like burnt. Not Scorpion. I felt a little smart saying Scorpion there.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because he's just like bones.
I mean, Reptile has like the human design, but then he also can take it off and turn into a lizard design. But I don't think that's what you're going with, right?
No, but you're getting really close. You're getting warmer.
Ooh, Ermac?
No.
But I mean, he is like kind of like a corpse in a way, you know. So the more
I know, but there's some people who probably find corpses attractive. This character when they have no clothes, yeah.
So this character really, if you like, does not have clothes, like nobody would find attractive.
They physically can't. They physically would not be able to. But if I tell you why, it would give away who it is.
Yeah, I know. So
they come in twos. Reptile's getting warmer. Like I'm giving it to you.
I feel like it would, because the only character I can think of that comes in two is
Chameleon, because they're invisible.
There's nothing there.
What?
Yeah, I thought
Chameleon's literally 100% invisible.
They're transparent. See, what I thought you were going to do was say something like, it's a character who was like a character who's naked, and so like you could take what they're wearing is technically the skin is technically clothes. You take it off, there's nothing like. But no, that makes sense. Yeah.
Otherwise, she is kind of sexualized. She's wearing like a dominatrix like swimsuit thing, like by default. And so is the male. He could be considered hot to some people. He's showing some side, pecs and stuff. But he's invisible, so you can only tell they're there because of their clothes. So the joke is like the more clothes they take off. Like if she went topless, she'd just be pants because she wouldn't have anything else. You know the joke that I'm going for here. So like the joke was
like
that
the Invisible Girl of My Hero Academia. Yeah.
And I think it's impossible to have a kink for nothing. Like just empty space, so I'm pretty sure that like no one could find her attractive.
I'm sure that exists. I
bet the fantasy exists, but that's about
it. But the joke is also you're saying looks less attractive as they take their clothes off. Like that's the joke. Yes. I get that part. But I have to say though, we came up with like 5 or 6 answers that are pretty decent too.
Meat's valid, Devora's valid, Scorpion's a funny one I didn't think of. Like just being a couple of bones, like that's funny. Although to people who know anatomy, they could know it's a guy skeleton. That might turn them on. Like that's a guy. Hot.
I hate to say, I hate to say this, but like Undertale fans that for some reason really like skeletons. So
yeah, because they have personalities. They're latching onto the personalities. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. There.
Well, there's also that one funny image of like a skeleton in a maid outfit, and the girl's boyfriend went hot, and she went, "You've got to be fucking kidding me." And he's like, "It's wearing a maid outfit."
That's funny.
So, yeah.
All right, that's a really wonderful riddle to send us off. I was thinking of a funny pun, but I can't really think of something.
Well, here's something that's kind of funny. Is from now on in future episodes, my video quality is not going to be as good because recording with the way we've been doing it for the last couple of episodes. I've run out of disk space again, so much so that the video stopped recording a few minutes ago.
Oh.
The audio's still going.
That's good.
I still got the audio, it's fine. but the video's not, so you have to find some replacement or something.
You'll be an image there.
Technical difficulties, and just like me, you better find the most embarrassing photo of his face to stick on there, because you've been doing me dirty with that for weeks.
It has to be. Yeah, you better. It's gonna just be fair here.
That image haunts me, dude. I look 40 in that damn image.
I had over 100 gigabytes of free space before we started recording. I don't know what's gone wrong.
Yeah.
It's a
Why
high fidelity
so
camera you got
huge.
going on there. Are you like filming in 4K?
I guess so. So I have to change the setup to the old way. So yeah, if I go back to 240p, I'm sorry, it's the only option we have at this point.
Okay, I can see. Yeah, this wonderful image. This wonderful image from episode 1. Jeez, what a callback! Just bringing back that wonderful image.
It's not even me. That's like a weird photoshopped version of my face. They put that weird art filter on me. I hate it.
It's just MODOK.
But it has the paintbrush like filter on my face, which makes me look really shiny and oily. I fucking hate it, dude. It's so gross.
Dude.
And I guarantee you that's not even how I looked. I think they like did use like some Photoshop tricks to get more of my face, because like like I had my face turned too much. Because look at my face now. My face ain't shaped like that. It's not that circular. I have a tall face.
I don't know. No, just kidding. It definitely is a filter. It's like very
look how big my fucking
like...
forehead is in that. Like, I mean, my forehead is tall, but look how my head just gets wider as it goes up in that technical difficulties thing. Whereas my face doesn't do that. It gets here, and then it's just straight up the whole time. It does not just get wider. Motherfuckers did me dirty.
So, I'm just gonna quickly nip to the toilet. It's not gonna make any difference for the last couple of minutes of the podcast because no one can see me anyway.
True.
I'm just letting you
know
guys
who's
know.
also going away? All of us. Goodbye, everybody. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, everybody say Happy New Year, because that's literally when this is gonna be out. Happy New Year.
Oh god, Happy New
Year,
Year,
everybody! Because Sonic
I hope you
Terror
guys are
sings on
loving
time.
the MK12
Hey.
announcement that we're totally caught on with and stuff, right? Right, guys? They
Totally
showed
knew in
Reptile's nipple,
advance.
right?
Hopefully we'll have our big proper snowblind discussion next episode. Probably not though. The way things have been playing out.
We'll have our proper snowblind discussion like next year.
Yep.
Yes. So sometime in 2022 it will happen.
The
probably.
snowblind discussion will be out probably after my snowblind sucks video. See you later, guys.
Bye, everybody. You're all beautiful. It's a long ass video. See ya.
Stay underdog.
Not just Reptile's nipples, but he fires milk from them.